What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live, episode 72. Can't believe we're at 72, guys, but here we are. First, I want to start by saying a big happy new year to everybody. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. We have been off the past couple weeks. Guys, scheduling the next couple months for streams and stuff is going to be tough. As you can see, we're only starting with 2. We have more panel members coming. Chris is still kind of winding down with UPS Collecting Madness, so he'll be joining us. But thankfully, we have Mike here, Mike L24. And dude, he's got his hat already ready to go. I don't even have to prompt him for it. But yes, guys, Happy New Year to everyone. We already got some people hanging out in the chat tonight. I hope you guys are all doing well. Once again, we had a bit of a break, 2 weeks off, but we were all enjoying our vacations, right? Having our time off, spending time with family. Once again, I hope you guys had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope 2024 is treating you good so far. It's been good for me so far. I know Chris was telling me, he's like, dude, I've had the worst luck so far. And I felt for him. But for me, it's been all right. I've been happy so far with what's been happening. So I want to do something different before we get started. I'm going to say what's up to everybody in the chat, of course. But really quickly, guys, I want to give a big shout out to all of the members who have joined the membership. So yes, guys, I did open up membership. I mentioned it on the last stream. If you guys are interested, there is a link in the description to join the channel membership. Of course, you don't have to do that. This is completely free. But really quick, guys, I want to give a big shout out to the channel members that are new this month, obviously being the first month. OG fan, which OG fan just jumped in. One of our great moderators. We got 12-inch Moose Stream, Chunker, Some Guy, another one of our great moderators, and Mr. Mom Collectibles, Orion, over on his channel. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being so generous and spending your hard-earned money on me. I very much appreciate that. And Collecting Madness said he's going to be here within the hour, so we appreciate you, Chris, for hanging in with us. I know your schedule's been really rough, but let me say what's up to some people in the chat, and then we'll get started, guys. There's a lot of great stuff to talk about. I know Lane especially is probably chomping at the bits to talk about some of this stuff, so I'm sure we'll be seeing Lane very shortly. And then Sean is still stuck at work, but he'll be here as well. But like I said, we got Mike with us, the dynamic duo, starting it off right, Mike? Started off the first stream of the year. Thanks for coming in. I know you got a bit of a scheduling issue yourself, but you made it happen for us, so we appreciate it.
Oh man, I'm so happy to be here. I'm not a channel member yet. What the heck? What's going on here?
Dude, it's not required. Don't make
No, it's not required, but it's the right thing to do. Put it that way.
Everybody's like, I'm a
gotta
bad
support,
person
bro.
If I become a channel. I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But let me say what's up to some people in the chat, guys. We got TK here first. TK592. He's one of our great moderators, not only in the Discord, but also in the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group. And I saw another one of our great moderators paid and dropping the link already because he's in that Facebook group with us every day. So, guys, if you haven't already, check out the Facebook groups. A lot of great stuff going on there. But thank you so much for being here, TK, as always. Another one of our fantastic moderators and a good friend, Ty, is here. Ty says, hi, everyone. Happy New Year to you, Ty. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here, as always. And, of course, I can't forget about Big Dog Pound. We got Big Dog Pound in the house. Big Dog Pound, what's up, my friend? I got to give you a big New Year's woo! I hope you're doing well, bro. Thank you so much for being here. It's really great to see you, as always. And hopefully Chris will get in here shortly so he can give you your proper welcome because, we need him to assist with that. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I very much appreciate it. Let's see. We got Joe P. What's up, Joe P? I know Joe P's over in the Facebook group. Joe, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, bro. Happy New Year to you as well. And we very much appreciate you being here. Let's see. OG fan, once again, a great moderator here, a great friend, and also a channel member. We gave him a shout out at the beginning. He says, excuse me, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year to you, OG. I hope you had a great holiday season. Thank you so much for being here, bro, as always. I very much appreciate it. Boba Fettuccini is in the house, one of my favorite usernames, as I always say. Boba Fettuccini says, what's up, all? It's a great day, I guess, to be a Doctor Strange fan. Absolutely, my favorite Avenger. Oh, yeah. My favorite Avenger. Can't wait for Dead Strange to make it to the USA. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that one, guys. That one was obviously not a huge surprise. We're going to take a brief look at that roadmap towards the middle of the stream, but not a huge surprise, but a welcome one, right? Because that figure looks really, really good. And you guys know Absolutely. I was super, super hyped for that one. I was begging for it when Multiverse of Madness came out. So I was really happy to see that one come to fruition.
Yeah, me too. Hey, now, Bubba,
Dude, yeah, it looks really good, man. It looks really good. So I can't wait to talk about it. Got a lot of great stuff to talk about, as I said. Thick Bantha Boy, Thick Bantha Boy, I feel like I haven't seen you as much lately. I'm sure you've been a busy guy. But Thick Bantha Boy says, yee yee. It's been a while, but I'm back for the best banger of the week. We appreciate you, bro. I missed you. Another person I miss is Insane One. I haven't spoken to Insane One in a while, guys. I'm sure he's used to being not only my stream, but he's supported basically everybody. So if anyone has spoken to Insane One, I miss him. I hope he's doing well. And,
Thick Bantha Boy is another username I call my 1-year-old son every now and then. I'm like, get over here, Thick Bantha Boy. So you guys have impacted my life in ways you do not even know yet. So.
Right. Yeah, there you go, Thick Bantha Boy. Who would have known that your username would stretch that far? That's awesome. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here, man. It's great to be back. Yeah, I miss him too. I hope he's doing well. I haven't heard from him in a while. I talked to him, I think a couple months ago. I hope he's doing well. We miss him for sure. But when TK said first, it just reminded me of him. But guys, let's get started. We're gonna have like a chill little discussion here. We're starting off with the two of us, and it's gonna be nice because we can kind of break everything down. Guys, we're gonna start with one of the kind of the biggest debates of the week, and unfortunately, that was the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And I figured, big shout out to MRC, by the way. The timing couldn't have been better on this review. He posted his review legitimately as I was setting up for the stream. So we're going to watch this together. I have not watched it barely at all. You can see I've watched like a little trickle of it just to kind of see that B-roll in the beginning. But I'm going to start playing it, guys, and I'm going to pull a question up on the screen here because there's been a lot of debate about this figure, and it's unfortunate because, guys, this is my Spider-Man. This is a lot of our Spider-Man. This is Tobey Maguire from the Sam Raimi trilogy. Obviously, this is a No Way Home version of our Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, but this is a very special one for a lot of us, right? So definitely, as I'm like trying to be serious and talk about the Spider-Man, Owen from In the Detox says I have the Present Toys Punish Man Frank haircut. Well, at least he didn't say I had the face sculpt of that figure, because I'd be pretty offended if he said that. But no, that sculpt's not that bad. Or those sculpts are not that bad. But he ain't wrong, though. He ain't wrong. But thanks for hanging out with us, Owen. Owen, if you want to jump in, if you're bored, dude, I know it's like super, super early for you guys. But if you want to pop in, or super late for you, feel free. But yeah, guys, we're going to talk about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man here now. I kind of want to bring up a lot of the talking points that have been made about this figure and kind of share my thoughts on it. And then, of course, we're going to have Mike's thoughts and everybody in the chat's thoughts as well. First things first, guys, the head sculpt, right? There's been a lot of debate about the head sculpt. I like the head sculpt. I really do think Hot Toys did a really bad job at showcasing that head sculpt. They had this like yellowy orange lighting, and it just really threw off the look of that head sculpt, in my opinion, and those final product photos. Definitely wasn't a big fan of that. JC Hong posted a photo of the figure on his Instagram page, and I was like, yeah, that's what I expected. It looked way better in his photos. Again, I have not seen this review yet. Mike, I don't know if you've watched this review yet, because it literally just dropped about an hour ago.
I haven't.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what it looks like in this video. Yeah, guys, subscribe to MRC. We're gonna do a double advertisement here. Subscribe to MRC. This dude is
MRC's the man. Yeah, he is.
Reagan's the nicest guy ever, and he's always on top of these reviews, and we very much appreciate him. So subscribe, follow his videos, instructions, and subscribe to him. But yeah, guys, now, again, for me, and I don't know about you, Mike, just seeing those final product photos, and I'm guessing you saw that post by JC, I like the head sculpt. I don't think it looks bad at all. I think it looks very close to the prototype. It did get a little bit softer, but I do think it has that Tobey Maguire look to it. And I know a lot of people said that it kind of has like a dead look to it. But for me, when I see that expression on that head sculpt, I'm reminded of Otto. It's good to see, like that whole scene where he sees Doc Ock again. And, Doc Ock's he's in his right mind because the inhibitor chip is destroyed and everything. So, for me, that's the expression that I was kind of looking for in the head sculpt. So I'm happy to see that. I know it's not for everybody, because when you're in such a basic pose like that on the head sculpt, or expression, I should say, it kind of limits what you could do with it. You're not going to be in any crazy action poses when he's just like this, So I get it. I get why some people are like, eh. But realistically, it seems like a lot of people, though, who collect Spider-Man figures, it seems like I'm in the minority when I use head sculpts on a lot of my Spider-Man figures. Tom Holland, it's a little different because I have so many. I don't know about you, Mike, but Tom Holland Spider-Man, I have like 2 with the head sculpt, and the rest I have the mask on. But I feel like with these, I want to have them all with the head sculpt on, kind of in that planning phase before that final battle. That's how I want to have my 3. So I don't know about you, man,
Yeah.
but
No, I think so. I don't have any of these on order, but well, actually, I have the red and blue suit on order, but not like the standard costumes. Um, but I think they all look really cool. There's a picture of all 3 of them just standing there,
yeah,
and that's probably the look I would go for if I was going down this line. Which, by the way, I think this line is like super exciting for everybody that went deep on this one. As far as the head sculpt, yeah, dude, it looks like 2 totally different figures. The JC Hong post, and then some of the like worse pictures of the head sculpt. So that leads me to believe that in hand, and I hate saying that, like, oh, in hand, it's going to be totally different. But I do get the sense that if you can make it look that good in a video without any special lighting that JC Hong had on Instagram,
yeah, I think he
that's
just
what it's
used
going to
his
look
cell
like
phone
in
for
person.
those photos.
Just cell phone with like, office lighting, right?
Yeah,
If it looked that good in that picture, then I'm going to chalk up like any negativity to the head sculpt from Sideshow to their lighting or whatever they did. I think in hand it's going to look more like what JC posted. So I
yeah,
think people are going to be really happy with this. I know some people, and I see this, were a little put off by the eyes, the size of the eyes, the placement of the eyes, where the webbing was, and like to say who cares about that, it would kind of dismiss a lot of the reason why we collect, right? We
yeah.
want that accuracy. So I don't think that's something that should just be dismissed. I understand why that would bother people. To your point about the head sculpt and the expression too, I kind of see, and I'm not a big Spider-Man. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I'm not a big Spider-Man figure collector though. Like I only have 29.99 right now, and like in hand, that's all I have. But I've got a couple on pre-order, so I'll get there. But it's a big rabbit hole that I'm trying to avoid. But like this kind of expression on a sculpt, for me, the way I imagine I would pose a head sculpt with a Spider-Man is more of a museum pose anyway. So I think this really would work for that for me. But I'm curious to know what the chat thinks.
Yeah.
So, and this is like Toby is your dour Spider-Man, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but that was the tone of those films because he's got the weight of the world on him. He doesn't have the thrilling excitement of Iron Man's world and the tech that we see in the Tom Holland films. He's kind of alone. There's no other superheroes. He's got the weight of the world, and he's got the safety of those he loves on his shoulders. So to me, this is the expression I'd want for this character.
Me too, and yeah, and just seeing it here too in this video, I think it looks really good, man. I like it. This is an aged Tobey Maguire to me. This is how he looked in the film. Again, I get it, with these head sculpts, especially lately, dude, like when I see some people's opinions on stuff, I respect everybody's opinion, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, it truly is like beauty is in the eye of the beholder with some of these head sculpts, and it's been very apparent lately for sure. Really quick though, I want to say a big shout out to Maz's Toy Box, guys. Go check out Maz. Maz says Hot Toys Hotline. It's good to see you, Maz. Happy New Year to you. I hope you had a great holiday season, and I hope you're doing well, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's great to have you here. It always makes me smile when I see you pop in, dude. And then perfect timing for Lane to be here because Lane, we just started talking about.
Considering I'm getting this figure.
Yeah, it's perfect timing, right? And Lane, I'll let you jump in. I do want to address something that Mike mentioned as well because it's another point with this figure that a lot of people are discussing, and that's the eye placement.
So can I ask for just a quick catch up? I literally just got home like 5 minutes ago.
We literally just started talking about it. We started talking about our thoughts on the head sculpt and kind of how we felt.
Okay, I just want to make sure any major thing we already talked about 10 minutes ago.
So we were just talking about how we felt about the head sculpt after seeing seeing it in this video, seeing JC Hong's post. But Lane, the point I was bringing up, and Mike had mentioned it, and a lot of other people were talking about it, is the eye placement on the mask sculpt. And Mike, I do agree, the placement is a bit off. In the prototype, we saw the eyes were kind of placed centrally where the webbing kind of crosses. Whereas in this one, a lot of people were comparing it to the Insomniac games, the placement on their eye lenses. It wasn't quite the same. But I get what they were saying. It was more along those lines. And for me, because I'm using the head sculpt on this one, I'm not terribly mad about it, but I will say it's a bit disappointing. In that regard, I do think the eye placement, the lens placement is definitely a little bit off. Another thing, Lane, and I'll allow you to comment on this, and guys in the chat, share your thoughts. I'm going to go through the comments, don't you worry. Yeah, the base looks amazing. I love the base. Another thing that was brought up about this, guys, are the proportions. I actually think the proportions on this are much better than that black suit Toby. As excited as I am for that Spider-Man 3 black suit Bully Maguire, I think this is a much better off figure in terms of the overall proportions and everything than that black suit. I think that one needs more work than we see.
Well, that one still got a year before it's coming out.
Yeah.
Do I think Hot Toys is going to make a ton of difference? That's a whole different
Yeah, absolutely.
debate.
Like, there's still room to improve. They decide to do that. But I think with this one, I don't as much understand the complaints about the proportions, because I think the proportions on this are pretty good. Again, I could definitely see the argument with the black suit. But for me personally, I'm actually pretty happy with how
You're going to buy
looks.
both anyway, so you can just put them next to each other in your video review.
Right, exactly. And that's a good way to compare them. And
then you'll be like trash, awesome. You know, and the appropriate, 2024 YouTuber space response.
Right. Chris says Bully Maguire's coming for whoever's hating. Yeah. Evil Sneaker's in the house. What's up, Evil Sneaker? Good to see you, bro. Thank you so much for popping in, man. Owen says, show the part in the video where the leg breaks. Ooh, I did not know the leg breaks in this video. That'll be interesting.
Oh, that's not good. That doesn't exactly encourage crazy posing.
Right. But, yeah, so the other thing that some people were talking about is kind of the webbing pattern and their thoughts on the webbing pattern. It seems like Hot Toys kind of made the webbing pattern closer to the Sam Raimi trilogy as opposed to mimicking the webbing pattern in No Way Home, which for me, the fact that, that's closer to the Sam Raimi version of the suit, I actually prefer that. I know for people that are going for a ultimate accurate No Way Home suit, you're going to be a little disappointed in that, but I think the webbing pattern for me personally just looks much better on the Sam Raimi suits. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. Again, overall, I really don't have any complaints personally on the proportions of the body. I like how the suit looks. One more thing that was brought up also, and then I'll pass it on, was the bunching around the neck. It seems like that's kind of an ongoing issue with all the Spider-Man figures, at least a good amount of them.
Well, didn't even technically the Amazing Spider-Man 2.0, I guess, Garfield one, didn't that have some of the similar issue too?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, like it's kind of a design choice by them that causes that issue, and you can kind of see it here in the video as he's moving the head down.
Your choices really for the Spider-Mans are do kind of where they have the attach movement piece, the attachable head, basically you remove the whole thing if you're going to replace it with the head sculpt, face regular head sculpt, or it's like classic Spider-Man where it's more like a magnet and you just kind of can move it around basically. So that allows some, or Venom or Carnage or something, those figures where it definitely gives you the easiest, placement of the head, but it also always looks a little bit weird if you're not, looking at it head on or something. So, I mean, that's just with Spider-Man figures. Now, maybe I don't know what, maybe the black suit the black suit video game one may not have that because it looks like it's almost one piece in certain ways, the way the neck is and everything. So maybe that won't have a problem. But yeah. I will admit for this one, the seam line there is really bad. Like that.
You're talking about along the neck?
Yeah, that seam line is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. As soon as I looked at it, I went, whoa. But this is the only Toby Spider-Man we're getting. Maybe ever.
At least in an officially licensed capacity.
Yeah, well,
Maguire,
I'm speaking of I mean licensed figure.
Yeah. Unless he pops up elsewhere, if they decide to go that route.
If you have issues with this one, then I would say, if you're looking for a final Spider-Man or a Spider-Man from the movie, then the light blue suit, the final.
The Holland
final suit, yeah. Then you might want to wait for that one because I think that one's going to probably end up being the best suit at all of them because I would say I'm getting this one because I want Toby. So I'm not going to lie. That next seam line does bother me a lot. I look at that and just kind of go, oof.
Well, so Lane, that
Right.
we also had and then we'll answer this chat message here.
No, I was going to
Lane has
respond to
not Lane
Panther
has not
earlier.
paid off his swoop
There
like that.
will
If
be no
Sean was
payment
here,
of
he
the
would
bet.
certainly remind you. But
Yeah, I know.
Lane also, like the classic comic Spidey has that neck seam as
Yeah.
well, and also the other thing is like I wish
You were
Hot
getting
Toys,
that one, right? If I
Yeah,
remember.
I wish Hot Toys also would sort out that seam down
Like
the top
that.
of the head.
Or on the hand sometimes.
Yeah, and also like the other thing is like the hands, the color definitely doesn't line up perfectly there. You could see like the plastic.
I can
versus the
see why people are
fabric.
disappointed with this figure. I'm not going to argue the point with this one. Honestly, I was looking at it and I kind of wish maybe that I had held off and got the regular Holland blue suit, maybe the final suit, because I really think that one's going to turn out really cool.
Yeah.
I would say,
I've got high hopes for that one too. That's the one I have on pre-order.
I think
as
a
well.
lot of people
and the
do.
comic one I have on pre-order too. But
yeah,
everything you're saying, Lane, like the seam and stuff. I mean,
it's disappointing. But if you want Toby, you got to. Now, I didn't get the one. Now, especially, I can understand if Mr. C's here review. If you got the one with the diorama base and you spent $450 on this, I can understand being upset with this possible, because what you I mean, that's basically you made the same investment you did like for the Iron Man 2.0 Mark III. That's a die-cast figure, with the diorama base. So you made the $5 difference in price investment. So I got just Toby by himself because I didn't care about the same diorama. I never used those, and it was just a matter of money. Like, I mean, he was expensive he's expensive for what he comes with. He's $300. We were talking about Cobb Vanth and everything for his price. Now, I am not saying Cobb Vanth is anywhere in the same stratosphere for Tobey Maguire's movie Spider-Man.
No, yeah, I mean,
for popularity.
This one I probably got triple the orders of that Cobb.
Yeah, but I'm still saying for what it comes with and what it is. I mean, Cobb Vanth, at least you can remove part of the outfit and give an entirely different look to the figure and stuff. So, I almost think maybe that this figure, at least the diorama version, this one probably should have been $420, like $30 less. Because I understand the limitations for $450 for that price point with the diorama. I understand why people might be a little annoyed.
So here's the broken leg. Sorry, Lane, not to cut you off.
No, go on.
I'm trying to find because it was.
Is that a loose?
Yeah, apparently the joint broke. Maybe I'm gonna turn the audio on, guys.
Doesn't have doesn't have.
Let me see.
Why?
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
No, that didn't sound good.
Yeah.
No, and he's not like particularly rough with it. Like he's just handling it.
The ratchets are like kind of giving out.
Not gonna hold.
Well, actually, I don't know. That might be. I mean, at least in that portion there, it kind of seemed like the suit was forcing the ratchets down because it's so tight on the body.
Below 90 degrees. I don't like the form of the body.
Yeah.
His audio sounds weird because I have it on. It's like slowed down.
Real
quick, I want to address a couple of comments. Sorry to cut you off, Lane. I want to give a big congratulations to guys in the chat if you could join in. Carlito, one of our good friends here that hangs out with us every week and in the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group. His baby boy was born today, a healthy baby boy. So congrats, Carlito, on that.
Congratulations, man.
So glad to hear everything worked out, and we're all really happy for you. So thank you so much for reminding me. Some guy I meant to say something when we started, and I'm like, oh man. OG Fan says another Hot Toys home run, in my opinion, that Dio base. Yeah, the base is super cool. And again, guys, like, though I have some issues with this figure, I agree with Lane. This is not a perfect release, and it's unfortunate because this is my favorite Spider-Man. I was hoping that it would just be, like, to the teeth perfect, but it's not. But you guys know me. I think I'm looking at this. I'm more than happy with it in terms of what I'm getting here because it's my favorite Spider-Man, and it comes with a head sculpt that I really like. And I'm probably going to museum pose it because he's going to be standing with his boys, kind of planning the final attack. So it's, for my personal use, it's going to be fine.
And honestly, you're talking about recent Spider-Mans. If I had to choose, knowing now the limitations or how the figures look with this guy, and say the Amazing Spider-Man, the comic book one, which I've read Spider-Man comics in the last year. Yeah. So I might, as much as I like Toby, I last watched his movies like 20 years ago. Last time I watched any of the Spider-Man movies, his Spider-Man.
Years, Lane, you're doing.
Well, I don't. Only certain movies do I watch over and over again, but I still remember the movies and stuff. And he's still my favorite live-action Spider-Man.
How's it going, Collector Joey? Good to see you,
hello.
bro.
I would still choose this with the flaws that we can see in this figure. I would still choose this guy over getting that Amazing Spider-Man one.
Oh,
not
1,000.
only not even including the because that one has some problems, and it's also like $40 more too.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I will say these lenses are rough. The placement is a little rough because they're supposed to be like, you can see where that kind of webbing pattern meets in the middle. They're supposed to be kind of tucked in,
especially the right hand side there. Just from this angle, it just looks like
it's a little derpy. It's like Spider-Man in the face. But again, it's like, thankfully, the Spider-Man fans are so the Spider-Man fans are so dedicated. Someone's gonna do a mod or something and make this look awesome. I know it's gonna be difficult because of the way that material's on there, but somebody's gonna figure it out. But again, for me, I'm using the head sculpt, so I'm happy that I decided to go that route. But yeah, I totally agree too with the neck seam. Boba Fettuccine says that neck seam line irks me. I just picked up the No Way Home Spidey movie proto battle damage version. Very good figure in the yeah, and that figure is really cool. I have all of the Spideys from No Way Home, and I've been very happy with them. The black and gold suit's probably like the most underwhelming, but if you're trying to do like a complete No Way Home display with everything, it's a very cheap Spidey to get for that line. So.
Comparing Spider-Man, not exactly directly pairing, but like seeing how the Spider-Mans came out, because I've got the Advanced Suit 2.0 coming.
Nice.
Probably Saturday it's supposed to arrive. I'm interested to see, not directly comparing the two Spider-Mans, but seeing how well the suit and stuff, like we're having them in hand, being able to kind of compare them a little bit, how it looks like they came out. Because if you had told me I would choose one that might, have limitations or come up kind of like, maybe in some response, I probably would have said the 2.0 because that came in such a short period of time and everything, where they had a year and a half or something on this one. But this is one, we talk about with Hot Toys and Inart and other stuff. Sometimes they got a certain amount of time and they put out so many releases. You're going to run into a brick wall occasionally. And I know we're going to talk about some other figures that don't look like they necessarily have any problems and came out great. It's just when you're going to have 70 figures put out a year, you got to get them done. And sometimes they're going to come up a little short.
Yeah, like I said, Lane, for me, this would have been the one that I wanted them to go the hardest on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't. And again,
do you think the final suit? That's why I think. Do you think the final suit probably is?
I mean, they've been pretty good with Holland suits. I think they'll do a fair enough job. For me, is the Holland suit going to trump this one? No, because again, this is my favorite Spider-Man.
Do you think the integrated suit probably now? I mean, you got to wait till you get enhanced, but I mean, at least from looking at it, do you think of the trio, that one probably came out the best?
Probably just because it had the least amount of issues. I think a lot
that
of
looks funky. I just never like seeing part of.
And this one seems to have that same. Also, that a lot of people are asking about the neck connector. It seems to be the same thing that Andrew had, so it's a bit unfortunate. But again, I really love how this sculpt looks. And also, big congrats to Steve on the Cobb Vance shipping. I actually just finally. I thought I was going to be dead before it arrived. I just got an email from Big Bad Toy Store. My Kurt Cobain's about to ship. So finally,
do you think we're going to be dead before the Batman figure finally arrives from
probably at this point? Probably. I mean, we're just being crybabies about it, but it's just that's a figure I want really bad. Like I've got that's the big one
sitting here. Yeah, that's probably, like, I'd say for myself, that's as much as I'm glad this Toby's coming. Probably not helping a little bit, just seeing some of the issues with it. That makes it almost like, okay, whenever it gets here kind of thing. But that Batman figure, because that is not a version of Batman. I know it's a long time ago, but there's been Tobey Spider-Mans that have been made. Yeah. That Batman figure is the first time we're getting that one. And we know we're probably at least going to get another one of those, down the road when the Batman 2 comes out. Mm-hmm. But I think because it's a totally new version we've never had, or it's not 30 years old or something from an older movie, I think that's why we're all really hyped for that one.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting Batman.
Agree, man. It's a huge figure, and all the praise it's getting, I think, is well warranted. I just want to point out too, guys, like Hot Toys paint apps are getting like scary good. Like, look at the
it still looks good though. That's the thing. So
the depth in the skin and like all the freckling and everything. It's really a testament to the stubble. I mean,
5 o'clock. Yeah,
imagine how difficult that is to paint that in. Like that's no easy feat.
There's no sculpt work in that. It looks like it's just paint. So I found that interesting. I'm talking about stubble.
Yeah, and look at
Like
even
in
like the fading
comparison to
on
the
the.
Batman, they did sculpted stubble for the Batman, and it looks a little strange in pictures sometimes. But I'm sure in hand it'll look fine. But here it looks like it's just paint. So it's funny how they. I'm just curious how they make those decisions and why they go with one versus the other.
They
Yeah.
did.
Because sculpting stubble's risky.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
It can
could
just
look
look like
really
bad
goofy.
skin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely could look very goofy for sure. FBJ says, "I just want to complete the trio: Toby, Tom,
Yeah.
and Andrew. So I'll be picking this up." And I agree. Like for me, that's part
If
of the
you're
reason
in
I'm
on
picking
the
this
line,
up.
if you're
Apart
in
from it
on the
being,
line,
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people are heavily invested in this line, including myself.
God, there's
So
like so many figures. That this is like the Rogue One line of Spider-Man.
yeah, a lot of people are
That is
heavily,
true
heavily
about this
invested.
line, though. You could take this line and just get the 3 Spider-Men and do that pose, that relationship with the 3 of them,
You'd be
and
good
like
to go.
have a
just doing
You
the
don't have to
meme.
go all the
Like
way
just do the meme, man. Just have them
or the
pointing to
meme.
each other, and you're good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
So
Have you guys noticed a variation? This is what kind of annoys me. That center scene, it's like a crapshoot as to whether you get one that really irritates you or one that's like nicely placed or as best it can be
you're talking
placed.
about on the
That,
mask.
yeah, because even the comic book version, I have seen wildly different
Yeah, where like the
placements of
stitches
that.
are like also kind of opened up more, so it's more noticeable.
Yeah,
I'm hoping mine,
yeah,
because Sideshow just sent out emails. It's going to be shipping soon, so mine's about to ship.
yep.
I hope mine's
I
not
got
like
it
that.
too.
I hope it's not.
I'm just with this, like, man. It's just seam lines are one of the things, whether in figures or statues or anything, depending on how where they are put on these things, they can either disappear and you're like, yay, or they just stare at you in the face. Like,
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
yourself.
And with a release like this, though, you're kind of crossing your fingers because you don't know what you're going to get out of the box because they vary. They vary from figure to figure.
Remember what happened? Connor, you remember how? And I don't know, you might have seen some in the chat, might have seen me had the reaction live, like with Iron Man 2.0, where, they ran into the diorama base wouldn't attach unless you like had to heat it
With
in
the
water or use a
Ironmonger,
thing.
yeah, I heard
Which
about
happened
that.
to apparently almost all of them. And it's like, that's my one thing with diorama bases is you really don't know how those are going to work necessarily, unless maybe they're a little bit more simpler, like, the Batman one or something like that. I give them credit for like this one. They're making something really unique. This isn't just a weird.
No, it's what people
base
wanted.
thing and
It
stuff
was their way of giving us the lizard and the Sandman
without making a figure.
Because how insane, they couldn't do a figure of the Sandman, like a full body. He's massive, massive.
Well, you
more
remember
massive
how
than
the
he could
old
ever,
one looked, and now you look at it and kind of go,
right. I think this looks
yeah.
way better. I love how it kind of wraps around the flight pole. I will say, like, I'm kind of over this little Doc Ock arm on the base. It's terrible to pose. I have it on my other base. I'm gonna pull them off after having the actual Doc Ock figure. The arms are so much better because obviously they're much more substantial. They're meant to go with the figure. I'm not going to put this arm on there. I don't need a Doc Ock arm on every single base. So I'm going to do without that. And also watching him pose it here, I'm like, yep, mine are the exact same way. They don't quite stay in the position. Not like the arms that actually, because I think the arms that come with Doc Ock are fantastic. They pose really well. If you pose them properly, you can kind of have them standing on them. They're amazing. The ones that come with the base, obviously it's going to be a little bit cheaper, and it's going to I can't even talk.
Well,
it's an
they bounce
accessory
back.
for the base. Yeah, exactly. Like you put them in place, and then it kind of springs back on you. And it's such a
do you
pain
guys
in the
feel a
end to
little
pose.
bit here with the No Way Home line that we've seen with some of the figures and even like tying in with the diorama bases? We have seen a little bit in this line, especially the last couple. I'm thinking also back to both the Green Goblins and everything that have come out, where this line is present because also how advanced like just Hot Toys can do these, the articulation or accuracy. This line to me feels like we've seen a little bit of that conflict where it's getting articulation or look or whatever, being able to manipulate stuff as toys. So obviously not regular toys like we think of, but some posability or something like that kind of toys. They're not just a statue versus getting the complete accuracy of how they look in a movie or animated show or whatever they're being based off of. Because like the Green Goblin, I would say pretty much like the original, the classic Green Goblin, and much more, even maybe more so, the advanced suit one. Like those look to me dead on, especially I think Norman's head sculpt for the complete insanity that's on his face.
Yeah, those figures look great, and like the upgraded suit, Lane. I don't know if you've seen what he's selling for. It's crazy. He's selling for an astronomical amount of money, even in like Hong Kong.
But the one thing is with with both those things is like you can't post those legs for shit. You can barely get them to stand on the glider.
I haven't posed mine yet, but I could already tell when I was just playing around with the figure because I have to film. I wanted to film like
the original version, especially. I don't know as much the advanced suit, but I'm just saying where you have you want to be able to stick them in and like hunch them over a little bit and everything.
If you work at it, but it's something you just can't force. Like you have to kind of slowly work at it because you don't want to like bust the seam on the suit or tear anything. It's a very tight suit on the body.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like some of those, but even like Doc Ock with some of the positioning with the arms and stuff
it takes
like that,
a little bit, but it's not an issue for
me. But I'm just saying where we seeing some of the conflict now between the accuracy versus the functionality of what you also want as being figures. This line to me just seems to exemplify that a little bit. I still prefer, at the end of the day, Spider-Man's a hard thing because Spider-Man, or even some of the villains, when you think of Spider-Man, whether bad guy or figure, you think of action and movement. There's plenty of times where we made even meme jokes about like, in Star Wars Ahsoka, where everybody was standing with their arms crossed for like 2 minutes in a row. So you can picture people standing in kind of a museum pose. Spider-Man is one of or even the Batman looking dark and brooding while standing on a side of a building.
I just think
Spider-Man is difficult, I think.
Marvel has that curse because their costume design is so complex very oftentimes.
Yeah.
With all like the printed suit material designs and everything like that, like it limits what they're able to do in a certain price range. And I think we see that very often.
Well, I think if this was being made by InArt for a $500 Spider-Man right now, I think you would maybe not have the seam line necessarily. If I saw that seam line on a $500 figure, I would have. I know, guys, that it was almost that much with the diorama, but I mean, it's just a figure by itself. I would look at that kind of like, what are you guys doing a little bit? But it just, I think this line has shown that a little bit. It's just, I didn't mean to get a sidetrack too much on that.
I think
go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I think in our, they would certainly probably focus more on the details on the suit. But again, regardless of who you're looking at, when it comes to like these suits with like these crazy printed details, they're going to be kind of in the same realm of limitation with posing and everything and the creasing on the suits and stuff, because you have to make the suit a flexible material, but be able to print some of these complex designs on them. Like there's a give and take, and you can't just use like any old normal cloth material because you're not going to get that like metallic sheen that you see on the lower half on this suit. There's limitations for sure.
In the films, they're digitally erasing a lot of these seams and stuff, or they're just creating the character wholesale digitally. So it's not even like you can say, well, just use the same material they use in real life, because they're smoothing that out and they're doing a lot of post to that image. But to go back to one quick point about InArt. I think InArt would sell you a 2-pack, one with a seamless head. It's just one. It wouldn't have the seam line here. Just be one seam line in the back, probably. You know what I mean? It would just they would figure out a way to just have it as one suit, not a removable head, and then they'd sell you a second body with a removable head, maybe. But hold on, guys. I'll be right back, sir.
No problem. But guys, I want to move on from Spider-Man. Lane, you made some great points. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for your thoughts.
Sorry if I got us too sidetracked. I didn't mean.
It's okay. It's hard not to kind of get long-winded about it, but I know some people are like, there's some other things we want to talk about. So I don't want to
there have been just a couple things since last time we were on it.
Right, just a couple things. But to answer the question, guys, do I think this figure's a complete fail? For me, no. Again, it's all up to the buyer. For me, I'm overall relatively happy with it. I'm not blown away by it. It's not what I was hoping for. I wasn't the exact absolute home run I was hoping for, but I'm happy with it. And looks like Sean will be on soon. Sean the Hot Toys number said, heading home, boys. And what's up to 12-inch Moose Stream? 12-inch Moose Stream says, hello, community of collectors. Received Admiral Picard and data has shipped. Awesome,
Cool.
dude. Congrats on that. I'm not a big Trek guy, so I don't know much about it, but I'm super happy for you. That's awesome.
I
know
can
those
always be
X06
glad to
figures
fill
are
you in.
awesome.
We'll schedule a time outside of
I
stream.
don't think I want to be filled in on that, Lane. Especially, if I'm being filled in by you, I'll learn about the entire.
Ooh, I figured this was going to be up early because I know you were probably.
Yeah. So I also, guys, I have a video of this that I'll show you. Let me get zoomed in here. But yeah, guys, we're gonna talk about the Mark II. Really excited to talk about the Mark II here now. And also, guys, we got 42 people watching. If you haven't already, consider dropping a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. I'd very much appreciate it. But guys, we're going to talk about the Iron Man Mark II 2.0. Now, I did drop a little hint on the Facebook group. If you guys are in the Facebook group, I dropped a little hint. We had some photos taken of the shop front in Hong Kong of the one of the Hot Toy stores. And you could see them putting up decals of the Mark II. And of course, immediately everybody was like, that's probably the the Mark II quarter scale. And I was like, well, I was told 6 scale, so we'll see what happens. And thankfully for me personally, and for others hoping for the 6 scale version, we got the 6 scale version. So
Monica might have been a little disappointed.
Yeah, I think Monica was probably happy either way because he collects both. But I know he really wanted that quarter scale, and that's not to say the quarter scale will never happen. But thankfully we got the win for 6 scale collectors. So this one's really exciting, though, guys. I know a lot of people are like, oh, another Iron Man. Really? That's our New Year's announcement. Well, one, we've talked about it many times on this stream, and I'm sure other streamers have as well. They're definitely going through and redoing a lot of these die-cast Iron Man figures. And, I'm sure eventually they'll start hitting the House Party Protocol suits and start doing die-cast versions of them. So this doesn't surprise me at all. I told you guys before, I'm building the OG7. I have either all the ones that have been released or put on pre-order, secured, whether it's a pre-order or in hand. So this is just, dropping another ring in the gauntlet here. I'm really excited for this one.
This guy's trying to outshine freaking the Chrome Mando.
Yeah, dude, the finish, and guys, we're gonna there's a shot of them side by side. The finish is a huge upgrade, and look, right as we start talking about Iron Man, Chris, the Collecting Madness is here. Chris, I think Big Dog Pound's still in the chat, dude. I think with a 2-week hiatus, you better grab the belt.
I'm 2 steps ahead of you.
Oh, he's got it around his waist, doesn't he? He's got it somewhere. He's got it hidden somewhere. We'll put him on the screen. Come on, Big Dog Pound. I told you. He told you he was coming.
It's been a bit. It's been a while. We took off, but we got to start the new year right with the Ric Flair drip. There's no other way. With that being said, I'm freezing.
Oh, I think you're good now. I think you're
too
good
drippy.
It's the Ric Flair drip.
Too ice. We're good.
We're good.
It's too icy. It's too icy.
You're getting iron clawed by the internet.
Delivering. UPS truck driving. Hot Toys delivering. Wedding ring wearing. Son of a gun. Woo! Happy woo year.
I don't know if I would say Ric Flairing and wearing a wedding ring in the same sentence, since Ric Flair has been married like 5 times.
Lane, that's his thing.
I mean, that's all the jewelry I got on right now.
I know. That can.
Lane,
but
don't
I would
disrespect the Ric Flair drip, Lane.
All I'm going to say is I would put Big Dog Pound on the spot. So this April, are you going to be on Team Rock versus the Roman Empire? Or are you going to be on Team Cody finishing the story and probably coming up short again?
I'd be happy with either of them dethroning Reigns. I love Reigns and I love his title reign, but
the problem is they're owned by Endeavor now, so since they can actually tell you who's going to win, they might say the Roman Empire is still making us more money, so they might say Roman goes over.
I mean,
guys, back to the Mark II. Y'all are getting crazy with this
Mark II.
So.
Yeah,
we're gonna start a side chat with all the wrestling boys. That's what you guys need to do. But back to the Mark II, guys. They did a lot of really cool stuff with this, and though yes, I know it's a 2.0 of another Iron Man suit, I think Hot Toys kind of went all in on this one.
Though.
Right, so you've got an updated finish, which again we're going to see a side-by-side photo, and the updated finish is quite impressive. But also, you have multiple ways to display it. You have an open armor display here, as you could see, and I think that looks really nice. I'll
With
zoom
a
in a
ton
little
of
bit for you
separate
guys.
new pieces to switch it in and
Yeah,
out.
it's gonna be a fun time putting all these pieces on to display it this way. However, I think this is really cool. Yeah, I'm trying, Joe. I'm trying to control these heathens. Lane is just he's
We
making
will
everybody
not
go
be
crazy
stopped.
tonight with his wrestling talk.
No, we got Big Dog Pound, so we got to give him.
Oh, he's blaming Big Dog Pound. Big Dog Pound.
Well,
How
we
do
got
you
to give
take
him
that,
what
man?
he's after.
I think you guys are going to be wrestling soon. You keep blaming Big Dog Pound.
Nobody
Steve
stops
says
the
this
Ric
figure
Flair
is fire.
drip.
Absolutely, it is fire. But yeah, guys, there's many ways to display it. I feel like it's going to be a fun time kind of situating all those pieces in that open armor configuration. But I mean, how good does this look, guys? And obviously, we have an all silver suit here because, this is when Tony was still perfecting his first real hot rod red and gold Iron Man suit that we saw with the Mark III. So this is a very much a pivotal moment for this character, and that's why we love these OG7 suits so much.
Yeah, if we're going
it
back
tells
good
so
on
much of a
stuff, how about an
story.
Ironmonger too?
Lane, you just love going off topic tonight.
Yeah.
Ironmonger would be awesome. I actually just saw one go up for sale, but it's like that's a tough one to hope for with a lot of diecast because it's so giant. It's such a big figure. I feel like that'd be the one where they kind of cheap out and they're like, oh, we have some reinforcements here and there, which I would take. I would take it. And obviously that one had those cracking issues, so I think at the very least it would have like those diecast.
As long as it doesn't
joints,
come
but
off as General Grievous 2.0.
I don't think we'll see that from Hot Toys. Not going wood, but yeah, this is really cool, guys. And of course, like Hot Toys has really perfected these Tony Stark head sculpts. They're just kind of pumping out banger after banger. This head sculpt looks great. Definitely have very little complaints. And I actually really love how the hair looks personally. I don't know about you guys, but I think the hair looks really nice on it too. Kind of has that like sweaty look, like, he's taking the armor on and off.
Would you stick this one on the Mark III 2.0? Because it's not as beaten up? With the little blood and stuff?
To be honest with you, Lane, I probably won't have head sculpts. And I know I'm a head sculpt guy. I probably won't have head sculpts on any of my OG
Well, I mean, if you would stick them on or something.
Probably not. I actually really do like that beat up sculpt. I'm a big fan of the battle damage, but that's not a bad idea, though. It's not a bad idea at all. I think that would actually look pretty nice on there, kind of with that full, clean look. But yeah, it's a good looking sculpt, guys. I mean, I really don't have any complaints about it. I don't know about you guys. Now, of course, guys, pricing on this one. Here's a shot of it actually on there. It's always so funny to me seeing the head sculpt because we kind of forget how like large in scale the Iron Man suits are, especially like in the films when we see Tony with his helmet down or with his helmet off rather. You kind of forget how big the suit is, like how much bigger it is, and like how large it makes him when he's inside the suit. And it's kind of shown here. Look, that the head kind of looks like a little tiny head a little bit, but definitely really cool. I don't know what you guys feel about the base. I think the base is really cool too. Lately, they've been doing some pretty unique bases with this new base design they've been using, and I'm definitely a big fan of that. I think that looks really cool. There's a shot of it. Yeah, that just looks good, man. It's just a good looking figure. The base looks great. That's a nice little pose that got him in there. I'm a big fan of this, guys. Again, I know it's another Iron Man 2.0. I'm curious to hear who's picking this one up. Moose Dream said this one's needed. Absolutely, it's needed. And again, we're going to see that photo of them side by side, and you'll really see how big of a difference is, especially in the height and the finish. It's a huge difference. OG says, I'm not an Iron Man collector, although I have wanted one. This looks amazing and may get me to pull the trigger. Yeah, dude, this one's really special. And I think, those who don't collect Iron Man and are kind of hating on this one, I don't think they realize how special it is to those who do collect Iron Man figures. This is just really nice looking, man. Pricing, and then we'll get some additional thoughts. Chris, I want to hear some thoughts from you because I know you just kind of dropped in with us. But pricing on this one, guys, it is pricey. But when you see kind of the general photo with everything it comes with, you're like, it's not that bad. It's pricey. It's definitely pricey. $455 through Sideshow for this one, guys. Definitely a pricey figure. But Chris, I already know kind of your interest in Iron Man, so I'm sure you're not going to be picking this one up because you're very selective with what you have.
Yeah.
And I know you've got your eye on that Mark 7. You're kind of debating that one back and forth lately. But what are your thoughts on this Mark II, man? Do you think this is a justifiable 2.0 with the amount of improvements they've made on this figure?
Absolutely, and you already touched on it about like the height and stuff. I know that was something that bugged people who had the older ones after they were starting to do these 2.0s. There was like all of them were different heights. So now that they're doing these 2.0s and they're bringing up to scale and better paint apps and stuff like that. We're getting the die cast where some of the older ones were plastic, and I mean, just look at that. That sells it right there. It's
so many
such a
ways,
great
right?
finish, right? Like imagine that on your shelf. Even if you had both, your eyes would just be drawn to the left one, without knowing they were, supposed to be the same. I would just look at the one on the left all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful, and I grant whoever's gonna pick it up or replace it, I can definitely see why.
Yeah, look at the difference, dude. It's not just the height; it's the proportions. It's some of the details on the armor. I mean, we saw
He's
this
like
with even
beefier, like it's crazy.
much beefier. Like, look how much wider the chest is. You can even like if you look at those little like rivets at the top, look at the distance between those between the old version. Like, I would be like super like interested in getting this if I had the old one and be like, damn, I need the new one.
It's
now,
like
'cause
if you
such a
look at the
difference.
collarbone area too, there's like more definition in there. You can just see a lot more detail.
Yeah, absolutely. And
on
that
the left
finish, dude.
side
The finish on the
versus-
new one is beautiful. It's beautiful. It has much more of
It
that
might be a
raw
fingerprint
metal.
magnet though.
Oh, it's going to be, absolutely. This might be one where you bust out the gloves for sure.
Yeah.
Mojo, speaking facts, Mojo says, now can we get a reissue of the Mark IV with gantry? That's it. That's, like I said, that's the final one on the gauntlet. That's the final stone on the gauntlet. I just need that Mark IV reissue, and I got my original 7, and I'm happy. But I think you also made a great point, Chris. I think the important thing for these 2.0s is bringing them up to scale with the newer versions of these original suits, because obviously having this larger scale figure is going to look a lot better with that new Mark III, with the newer Mark V. Like, there's a lot of things that they're doing here to kind of shore up that line. Obviously, it sucks if you're an owner of the original diecast versions, because they are doing quite a bit of upgrades with these. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to, are you happy with what you have? If you are, don't feel the need to go out and grab another one if you're happy with what you have. But that being said, I do think this is quite a substantial upgrade over the original diecast version that we're seeing here.
It's like, imagine if you have all these Iron Man suits and you have like the Hall of Armor and stuff like that, and then you're going through them and you just see the one on the right, this Mark II, and he's just the smallest one out of the, like, sticks out like a sore
It
thumb.
almost looks like
would
a
just
sentry next to him. Like it's a
Right.
unpiloted like drone that Iron Man built. It's so small.
Yeah. And from a storytelling perspective, it wouldn't make sense next to a Mark III because he's a painted Mark III. So it's like, how did he get bigger after a
Exactly,
paint job?
Right.
So, yeah, no, I agree with you guys. What's up, Chris?
What's up, dude?
By the way,
I dig the hat.
thank you, man. Happy New Year to you. It's a
Happy
beautiful
New Year.
figure, isn't it?
Dude, it's gorgeous. I mean, and Chris, we've touched on this many times. Like, if you want to see like what Hot Toys is good at, and you want to see like,
Oh yeah,
something really impressive to where you can show it to anyone and they'll be like, holy crap, hand them an Iron
Fun
Man figure from Hot
experience.
Toys.
Every
It's
time
such an
somebody comes in
experience.
this room, I hand them my Iron Man.
Right. It's like, all the moving parts, just the weight of it with the die cast. There's just something special about it. And there's just nothing like it. And, I love all my Star Wars figures. That's my bread and butter. But there's nothing apart from that C-3PO and like, stuff like that we get occasionally. There's nothing quite like an Iron Man figure, just the feel of it and all the moving parts. And this one, dude, like with this open armor concept that you can pose it in, it's just crazy. And this is such a storytelling piece. If you're a fan of the original Iron Man film, like this is such a storytelling piece showing Tony Stark working in his workshop. Yeah, and if you have that workshop Tony Stark, that's going to be such a great pairing for this. I don't have it. I just don't have the space for it, but this is really cool, man. And I totally agree with you guys. Like, this is something special.
they're beautiful. These figures are showstopper. I mean, I used to watch Budget Stark like 7 years ago. I wasn't even collecting this scale or anything, but it's just, they're fascinating to see, and they've only gotten better since then.
Mm-hmm.
The diecast, like I've always loved Iron Man. I've always loved the films, but I had never held a diecast Iron Man figure in my hand until the Mark 85, and then the Mark III, and now I'm like, I got to be careful, right? Because these things are expensive and they're amazing. They're so much better than you think they are when you finally get your hands on them. And it's like, if I get this one, I'm going to have to get the Mark I, and then I'm going to want to get the Tony Stark. And then so it's just like, I think I can stop myself before I get all 7, but it's tough, man.
It is tough with especially like with all these 2.0s and stuff coming out, and they're adding all this extra stuff with them. It is tough, man. Like look at
I
the
was
shot of
gonna
him here with the shoulder rockets and everything. It just looks so good.
I was gonna
Sorry, go
say
ahead.
that the engineering of them as well, like to be able to have all these moving parts, still have the solid feel, like that brick feel. It's incredible what they do with these guys.
Yeah, I totally agree, and like the lighting and everything, and guys, we're gonna keep talking about the OG7 because I was talking to Steve the other day when this figure dropped, and he showed me, and we're gonna show that photo of all of the original 7 together. Steve said he's really close to getting the 7, so guys, keep talking about the original 7 throughout the stream so we can get Steve to go in on them. But yeah, I totally agree, Chris. This is just, and this one is just so like elegant looking with that raw silver look to it. It just looks so good. I mean, like look the base too, man. I love the base. I love what they're doing with this new like LED base that they've obviously been using this style of base with a lot of different figures, but they've been changing it up to where it really fits nicely in different type of figures, and this just looks awesome.
Dude, you joke with me about me like talking about C3PO's weight being die cut. Like
Oh
it's
yeah, dude.
impressive.
In Chris's video,
Like,
he's like, "Oh my!"
I didn't
gosh,
expect it to
guys."
be that heavy, but Iron Man's heavy and can pose like that,
Right.
like that last one.
And like the nicest joints that you can experience on a 6 scale figure for me is Iron Man figures. They're really solid. It's metal, right? There's a lot of metal on these figures, unless it's the Mark V. The Mark V for me, I'm surprised it doesn't have that much die cast on it. But yeah, this is just, it's a great looking figure. I want to pull up that shot of all the, like, dude, like, holy crap. Look,
Right.
before you look at this photo, you're like, $455, what the hell? And then you see this photo, all these different parts and everything. Like, this is crazy. This is a really,
what I
really
was saying,
crazy
all these-
release.
Moving parts.
Joey said all he needs is the Mark VI to complete. Well, there you go, Steve.
Wow.
You got another. And Mike, while you were gone, Steve wanted to know if you're with him going in on the OG7. He needs somebody to dive in deep. I'm already there, but he needs you to dive in deep with him because you're kind of on the same playing field as him.
Such an influencer. We'll see. We'll see what I do.
Dude, it's tough.
But yeah, bro, I was listening in, and that 3PO is heavier than RoboCop. Like I had that experience too, Chris. I was like, yo, this thing's amazing.
Yeah.
So
It's dude, it's crazy. Again, like guys, if you have a
Diecast.
diecast figure and
Yeah.
you're considering it and you get one for a fair deal, it's such an experience. And this,
yeah,
like, dude, this is gonna be I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be an overwhelming figure to unbox. Look at all these parts, man. This is
Yeah.
crazy. This is absolutely crazy. This is such a cool figure. And like again,
So-
like go ahead.
yeah. No, you made me think about it now too. Like having all those parts, because sometimes it's like, oh, great, I have all these parts, but I'm really going to display them like flared open completely. So 90% of these will be in the box. But if you have the Tony Stark figure and you want to make like a kind of a diorama with him working on pieces and doing different things, like you could really get a lot of use out of these parts.
Yes, that's a great idea. Like
Get
have
yourself
him
a
holding
table and
with the matching
yeah.
finish on the parts and everything. It's gonna
Well,
look
yeah,
so good.
The best response I had is when I posted and was looking at this, and I posted up this picture to Terry Smith in his group, and I went, "That is a lot of parts," and,
Yeah,
and
it
I
is.
was like, I was like, man, and I was just posted a message like, and hey, man, Terry gets to have to open and work with all of these in his video next year, and he responded, I know it's going to be like a half a day's work just setting
Dude,
that up.
it's a lot. It's
Like,
overwhelming when you open
yeah.
an Iron Man figure. It is overwhelming.
But then with all this stuff loosey goosey in there and everything, it's just like, geez.
I just want to know like how big the packaging is going to be.
Well, I mean, I hope it's not bigger than the Mark III because they had the huge diorama base.
Because obviously some of these parts will be on the figure lane, but it says a combination of over 100 silver chrome armor pieces. So there's going to be a significant clamshell in there with all these different parts.
Yeah.
You know how they do with Iron Man. It's the
it's gonna
styrofoam.
suck.
And
Yeah, I know I hate how tall the Iron Man usually are. They take up so much more space. But this base, though,
yeah, it's
I
really
actually like, we kind of always seem to get a mixed bag half the time. Well, we were just talking about the diorama base turned out for Mark III.
Mhm.
We always seem to get a mixed bag, or half the time with the Iron Mans, we always going to go, hey, this is cool, or wait, why did they decide to do this base when they had like part of something here, or if they had done this other thing? What was the decision behind this? I literally think this may be one of the most perfect Iron Man bases.
It's so clean. It's again,
now,
I hate to use the word again, elegant, Lane. It's very elegant, right?
Yeah, because it seems to be combining some of the technology where we're seeing the improvement from the flashlight. Because I'm assuming it'll have some light
right. Because I mentioned that like they've been reusing this base, but they've been giving us like a nice little twist on it here and there as they're adding, and like the articulated arms on this, really cool.
Yeah.
They're
like arc really reactor arms. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm really digging this style of base. Like,
I think,
and they're using it with all their other figures as well.
I had someone go to me like they don't understand why it doesn't have a flight pole, kind of a dynamic stand. Well, I was like, well, this suit never flew. I mean, it was not a flight suit. That wasn't until Mark III was actually completed and painted. But I think that it's a little bit hard for me because I understand with the price point being the same as the Mark III 2.0, being that came with the big diorama base and other stuff with it, along with some switch out. I don't know. We'll have to see when the final figure comes for the total number of switch outs and stuff. But I would say that it still has, it's similar to what came with the Mark III 2.0. And you're not going to run into the problems in theory. I know in theory that you had with the big bases have had with the Mark III 2.0. And like you said, I think they have matched everything up. They gave a good head sculpt, which isn't battle damage, anything like that. They've changed it up new because this is when he might have been testing it in his lab or something. So he's not getting shot at or exploded or punched in the face or something. And like you said, this might help sell some of those mech test Tonys that they can't get rid of. Like those things are still sitting there.
Really quick, Lane, the Mark II, I think the Mark II suit, that's what he was wearing when he flew in, and then he had the icing problem, right? That's what, I didn't want to cut you off, Lane, because you were going on a good point, but the Mark II did fly.
I thought even the Mark I had a flight scene too.
It did, and then it crashed, and all the parts flew off his body. But
you used all those panels to break the ice off him and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Hey, how'd you solve the icing problem?
The whole scene, whatever it says. This isn't the absolute most needed Iron Man of any figure ever, but if you're completing a line, to me, this one is an easy passable Iron Man because to me, it's not one of the iconic Iron Man suits or anything, whether it's like Mark 85 where he dies in it, or it's Mark III, or even maybe Mark 5 and Mark 7. But
I see what you mean, Lane, but I think this is one of the most iconic because if you think about like the pantheon of Iron Man suits that Hot Toys has done, like this is from the first film, and it was the one that was so exciting to see because it had the rivets on it and stuff, and it was like part of his progression, and it's part of the storytelling of Iron Man. It's not just like, oh, let's come out with a quirky neon tech Iron Man or something like that. Like it's a real part of the story of Tony Stark. But I see your point, but you see what I'm saying?
I would agree with Mike here, but I get what Lane's saying. Like I feel like when people look at it, some people are gonna be like, that's just a raw silver Iron Man suit in terms of the aesthetics of it. I understand it from that point for sure, but I agree with you though, Mike. I do think this one, for me, again, this one, the biggest part about this thing this figure that I really like is the storytelling behind it. That's just for me personally. But I get what Lane's saying. Some people might look at it and like, it's just an all silver Iron Man. I'll get something that's a little more flashy. But real quick, I want to say what's up to Sean, the Hot Toys Nightmare. He just made it in. Sean, thank you so much for being here, my friend. We're talking about the Iron Man Mark II. Feel free to jump in, Sean, and share your thoughts. I actually have a video too to share with everybody while you're talking about it, which I think really does a good job at showing off this finish in person. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I think it comes off a little bit different on camera as well, more so what you would expect from how it looks in the film. But Sean, if you're here, feel free to share your thoughts on the Mark II 2.0.
All right. Hey everyone. So, got you.
Sorry guys. Go ahead, Sean.
Wow.
Yeah, that was that was a little entrance for you, Sean.
I hope I didn't piss Lane off.
Thank you. Yeah,
No,
I guess it's Big Dog Pound. One gets one from Chris. I guess I could get that, so I'm good.
That's true. That's your entrance from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually really happy. When I first saw the pictures before I clicked on, I actually thought this was like quarter scale because I'd been expecting the quarter scale to
Right.
get announced.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with this. I'm glad it's here. I love Iron Man. People are saying, "Oh, look, just another straight reissue." I don't really see that because there's a lot of differences that I'm noticing between my Mark III and this.
Oh yeah.
The base is also completely different for those that have not noticed that.
Yeah, we did talk about that. It's a really cool base, right? It has the arc reactor symbol in the middle. It's got the articulated arms, which is really cool.
Yeah.
The finish, man, is beautiful. That is
So,
such a beautiful finish.
And
It
like
is
the
beautiful.
Mark III isn't totally clean either. There's some like scuffing and stuff like that this doesn't. I mean, it's a different figure for sure. Sorry, Sean.
No, you're good. And you're right. My thing is, though, the only complaint I have is that we don't have a helmeted Rhodes head sculpt. That would have been great to have that.
Oh, like a visor up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Brody,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been the perfect setup for this. And it would be good. But that kind of tells me, too, because I don't think they would have forgotten about that. So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to do another, kind of like how they did the Unleashed, where you take off the leg parts and you have all those mechanical pieces and everything.
Oh yeah.
It started making me wondering if they're going to do that.
Yeah, this is going to be
for Iron
interesting with
Man
all those
too.
parts, right, Sean? Like how they implement that. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of magnets involved, I would imagine, with all those like open armor options that you have.
Well,
or maybe just swap out on the base layer. Maybe you swap out the parts that way. I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I mean, with all those parts and everything, it just looks like what they did was basically take the entire thing apart just to show you how many intricate parts the thing has.
Right, yeah, like some of those are going to, I mentioned that earlier, some of those are going to be on the figure. Of course, you're going to have extras in the box as well, but some of those will be on the figure. But I think it says there's over like 100 different variations that you can achieve, so there's probably going to be a decent amount of parts in the box as well. But I agree, yeah, obviously, like a lot of those parts are probably on the figure. Lane is back. Welcome back, Lane.
I was here the whole time.
Oh, I didn't know you were here. I thought you,
I was like,
you had to go
I don't know,
somewhere.
Lane. I kind of disagree. He's like,
Blackbird Tech, real quick. Blackbird Tech says, haha, this is no reissue, people speaking nonsense. I mean, obviously, if you take something like this at face value and you just see the post go up and you don't kind of compare or look through the photos, some people are, you jump the gun and you're like, oh, they just did another reissue of the same figure. But when you actually dig deep down, once again, you could see, guys, it's significantly different than the original version. So I think we're all really excited for this one. Sean, did you have any additional thoughts, like on the head sculpt or anything, before we move on to our next topic? Like, I'm guessing you've picked this one up already, or you're going to be picking this one up very soon.
Yeah, I have this. I did day one pre-order. The head sculpt looks good. I'm just, yeah. I still wish it came with Rhodey's head sculpt.
Yeah, maybe you gotta petition that to him. Maybe they'll throw it in. Lane also had a good idea that you could take this head sculpt and throw this one on the Mark III, and I thought that was a pretty good idea. I mean, I like that kind of like damaged look with the Mark III sculpt, but that's not a bad idea. I think that would look pretty cool, and especially if you have all of these and you're into using the head sculpts on them, I think that'd be a pretty nice addition to the Mark III there. But yeah, I ordered this one as well. I actually picked it up from Off the Racks. Guys, if you're interested in buying somewhere significantly cheaper in the U.S., Off the Racks, there's a link in the description. And we also have a discount code for $10 off. But I picked mine up from Off the Racks because his pre-orders sell out pretty quickly depending on what it is. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one too, Sean. I figured you would be too because I know you're big into the Iron Man figures like I am. Moose was saying that he's going all in on the original 7 too, because he's got a lot of other Iron Man figures, and he said, "Shit, I have so many Iron Mans already. I have a Hulkbuster and a Mech Test Tony." Well, now you have the Mech Test Tony. You know, that's kind of, it's a match made in heaven. I feel like you got to have the Mark II 2.0 now. So I don't have the Hulkbuster. I would love the Hulkbuster. It's just too substantial to put on the shelf for me. It's just too much there. It's so cool. My Hulkbuster settling, my coping mechanism was getting the Mark 43 and calling it a day. So that's my little mini Hulkbuster. But guys, we're going to move on from the Iron Man. Once again, really exciting announcement. I don't at all think that it's just another reissue. I think there's a lot there to warrant them doing another one. So we're going to move on to the next. This one's really, really exciting for me. I don't know how many people were excited for this one like I was, but if you guys have been watching the channel for a long time, I'm sure you guys remember when this movie first dropped, Multiverse of Madness first came out, I was like, I want that dead Doctor Strange at the end. I want that zombie Doctor Strange. And I was really, really pulling for this announcement, and Hot Toys just dropped it on us. And I got to say, guys, seeing the final product, I could not be more happy. I really could not. Like, this is a figure that has a lot of different components, and I think Hot Toys executed very nicely on this figure. I think it looks beautiful. It's got that Sam Raimi vibe to it, that kind of that Evil Dead vibe to it. It's very dark. I love it. I love how it turned out. I get it, guys. If you're not big on gore and stuff, this one might not be for you, but this is right up my alley. You know, Chris and I are big horror fans. I know, shout out to Austin Nicholas. He's probably not in here tonight, but he's a big horror fan. So even if you're just a horror fan that also likes Marvel, this kind of checks those boxes for you. It's beautiful. I love everything about it. I love how they painted the head sculpt. Let me go through some more photos. I love how they painted the head sculpt. I mean, just look at the tissue on the mouth, the way the teeth are painted, the different hands and stuff coming off of the creatures on his back. Just everything about it. The torn open shirt on the torso where you can see the exposed flesh and everything. There's just so much about this, so much detail to it that I think you kind of miss if you don't kind of take a closer look. They did a beautiful job on this. There's really nothing bad I could say about it personally. They delivered on the prototype 100% in my opinion. I'm very, very happy with this, and I cannot wait to get this in hand. And we'll get some thoughts from everybody in the panel as well. And also, guys in the chat, share your thoughts. Boba Fettuccini, I remember you were riding for this one with me. Boba Fettuccini says, yes, Dead Strange. I cannot wait. Been drooling over this one since it was announced. Looks so well engineered, and I totally agree. And some guy says, happy Dead Strange Day, awesome figure. Yeah, I totally agree, dude. Like, it's very special, and this is easily one that's going to fall by the wayside because, you know, if you're somebody that's very selective with your figures, you're going to buy one Doctor Strange. This is not it. But if you're a fan of Sam Raimi, if you're a fan of the film, if you're a horror fan, a Doctor Strange fan, you know, there's a lot of different ways you can kind of squeeze this one into your collection. And I think this one looks absolutely awesome. And I loved the scene. It was just so badass. You know, Doctor Strange just outsmarted Wanda there, you know, because it kind of, you know, towards the end, you're like, Wanda is extremely OP in this film. Like, is Doctor Strange going to do anything in this film? And this was his time to shine. And it's just such a cool scene and such a cool figure. And I'm so glad that Hot Toys didn't drop the ball on this one, because this could have been one of those. You know how it happens, guys. Something slips through the crack and they're like, let's just get it out. I'm so glad that did not happen with this one, because this one is really exciting to me. I'm so glad to see that other people are really pleased with this one. But guys, I'm going to open it up, and holy crap, like, look at the cape fully open. This is with him full attached. And that's the other cool thing about this, guys. You can display this in multiple different ways. You can kind of have him fully attached with everything, with the hands coming out, the cape fully extended. The cape has wiring in it. You can kind of wrap it around him, make it smaller if you have a DTOF. You can have him with just the hands. You can have him with nothing else but just the body, kind of in that zombie walking pose. There's just so much you could do with it. And I just love versatility. You guys know I always cry about the amount of hands that are included, because I just like versatility with figures. And with this one, guys, this one gets a pass, right, on the hands. I don't care how many hands they give Doctor Strange, because there's I don't know how many sets of hands coming off of his back there, but there's just unlimited options, and there's nothing that gets me more excited than options when it comes to.
Do you think that's going to fit inside a DTOF, like the full thing out?
Lane, I think you can, if you fold the wings properly, because they do, at least from what we're seeing in these photos and in the final product photos of the prototype, it looks like the cape is pretty nicely wired, And if you wrap the cape kind of around him like he's like blocking, or you remember in the film, he was kind of like sending the ghouls after Wanda, and the cape was kind of posed in a certain way. I think if you pose it right, you probably could get it to fit. It just depends on how you pose it. But again, if the cloak doesn't fit, you can have him with just the arms. You can have him without the arms. Like there's just unlimited possibilities. I'm drooling over this figure right now because I love to see options when it comes to these figures. And when you get a figure and it's got a gun and 4 hands, you're like, oh sweet, I'm gonna have the gun in his hand and he's gonna be standing there with the gun in his hand. But when you have a release like this, it gives you so many options, and you're not gonna see the same thing in everybody else's display because there's so many different ways to display it. And that's kind of with the Mark II 2.0 as well. All those different armor pieces, you're gonna have a lot of variation in people's collection. So that makes it really cool to me for sure. But guys, we're gonna have an open discussion on this one. Lane, I feel like you had some thoughts on this one as well.
Well, I got him on pre-order and paid off.
Cool. So Lane, you're right on board with me. Like, Lane, how do you feel about the execution on the final product here?
Oh, I think it looks just as good as the prototype. Maybe I'll have to hold it in hand. I'm hoping the cape will fit inside a detail because that was always my plan, to hand him on the riser with the wings extended. Because I didn't think he would be like the Vulture.
Yeah, the wings will definitely have to be posed down a little bit, but again, they do have the wiring in them.
But the fact that they're not just a solid plastic thing,
yep.
With the extra thing, that makes it where if you're just able, even maybe to the very edges, to kind of make it like you said, kind of moving in or something.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not into the big capey thing, this would definitely not be the Doctor Strange to get, because there are other ones like the other Multiverse of Madness Strange comes with a crap ton of extra pieces, like more traditional, that you would want to get.
Yeah.
But this guy is so unique. So with this guy, for me, he's going. Well, the reason why I'm hoping the cape will fit, because he's literally going into a detail shelf, which is all people who have big flowy capes. It's like my capes set up, because he's going in with he's going in with WandaVision, Wanda, because she has a fairly posable cap. Sure. And she's going in with Moon Knight.
That'll look cool.
Because he's got the biggest cape of all, the most posable cape of all.
He's got the most wiring.
Yeah, I love the hands though. There aren't not a ton of hands that come with them, but they're all in kind of grotesque. Like people were talking about Raimi-esque kind of feel to them with the hands, but they also look like they could be casting spell. I would be interested to see if when Justin does his review, or Mr. C does some of his, if maybe they try and see if some of the
there you go, Lane. Phantom says this will definitely fit full extent in the detail after removing all the shelves.
Thanks, first. But the other thing I was thinking about was if they try to do any posing with any of the spell castings or something. Like that from him, if there might be some of the hands that might be able to work with those, but that thing is now the one thing is is he going to have to, because I watched the unboxing video for Sideshow, you won't be able to use the large wing part though without him actually being on the show, on actually having him on the
stand.
Yeah,
dynamic
I think he has
stand
to be on the stand to use it, right?
I mean, the regular hands he can be with whatever, he can attach them.
But my topple over, dude. This thing is so beautiful. You showed a picture without anything on them, and they could have sold this figure like that.
I know.
I'm so impressed. They could have sold this figure, but I'm so impressed that they went 100% with it. It does, right? God, giving us all those extra hands in the cape. I've been trying to talk myself into this figure because this figure has absolutely no place in my collection whatsoever, but it's that good that I'm trying to rack my brain. When I heard Lane, he's like, well, I have a cape section. I was like, a cape section. So you can come up with different things
that in many ways, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's a great idea.
Dude, even the suit details, Mike, look at all the different details.
I was going to say this is more beautiful. Well, they're two different characters, but the Iron Man, we were talking about detail with that. This is detailed, and the fact that they mass produced it,
it's a different type of depth of detail.
So the only thing
is on the ball.
Can I have one
Zombie
nitpick
Iron Man.
about it? And that's MB Dyson brought this up on Instagram. I saw a picture. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they got the eye color wrong. So the eyes were blue in the prototype, and now they're brown in the produced figure.
Yeah. I saw that.
That's like the only criticism I can think of, and normally it's kind of a big deal, right? But like on this figure, you're probably not going to be noticing his eyes too much with everything else going on.
It's
But
hard to tell exactly what shade they are. Like they're definitely
yeah, they're like a pretty dark
blue.
brown, and he's got a very light eyes.
Yeah.
So and it's just strange that they had it correct in the prototype and then it changed.
I
So,
don't know. I wonder why.
but it's just something to note on an otherwise completely perfect, at least from photographs, figure.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me personally on this one because
No,
it'd be different if he
no.
wasn't like a dead corpse,
No,
basically.
can't get it now.
reanimated.
He's
It is
forget it.
ruined.
I'm gonna have to cancel it actually. But
No,
it's a good
but you know
point.
what?
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
You could throw this thing right in any horror collection. Like if you're getting,
Yeah, dude.
you know, the Lost Boys figure, right? And you got a Jason
Oh,
figure
yeah,
and a
with
Freddy
David,
figure.
yeah.
He fit in with any of that stuff. So
Yeah, this apart from having Bruce Campbell in the movie, this was like Sam Raimi's like this is a nod to Sam Raimi's past.
no, it's Evil Dead all the way, dude.
Yeah,
It's an
100%.
Evil Dead meets Marvel figure. That's another. I love Sam Raimi. I love Evil Dead.
And I've got the Ash figure from Asmus, the luxury edition collection. So
Nice.
this is so cool, man. Yeah, I'm glad everyone's on. Dude, look at the bent leg and everything. Like this is just so cool. And you could see some of the posability there in the wings because they have it kind of like harshly bent here. So as long as that wire is pretty substantial, I think if you bend it enough, you'll probably be able to fit it in a detail. If it just really depends on how posable the cape is. Oh, there's another.
There's a nice freedom, luxury of posing zombie-esque figures, right? Because like you don't have to get it perfect, right? Imperfection is what you want. Same with like the Death Troopers and stuff like that, or not Death Troopers, but whatever they were called.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, and yeah, this is, and I kind of forget sometimes that this version of Strange had the longer hair. So seeing it from the side here, that's really cool, man. It's just a really cool figure. Like, look at that shot, dude. That's a really nice shot there of him kind of interacting with the skulls. I wonder how they got that to sit up. I guess they put something under it to get it to sit up. But yeah, this is just really cool, man. I do have a, like Lane brought up earlier, Sideshow did put up their first look video. So as we continue to drool over this figure, I will pull up the first look here. Really cool packaging too, huh? Why is this
yeah, dude, he's got a Tom Cruise Last Samurai
yeah, the little
kind of
bun, yeah.
vibe to him, right? The hair and all.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see more about how that cape attaches here. Oh, are those skulls magnet? Why is this going so fast? Oh, this is just their like B-roll. Yeah, that box is sick. That's real. I got a thing for the art boxes. This is really cool.
That one looks like it's probably about the size of like the WB Batman 100 or so, probably. Box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of metallic material they're using too is cool. We've seen that on the WB, now on the Batman figures too.
Yeah.
Color of
That's
that
true.
base
That is
just
true.
pops.
I know. Thick Bantha Boy says eye color is totally due to poor Sideshow lighting. Remember, the Sideshow first looks are always posed by someone outside of the 1/6 collector space. Senile too.
It's Bantha Boy.
Doesn't Terry do the first looks? I don't know. Does he do all of them, Lane?
He
doesn't.
split them.
Him and Guy split them.
Yeah. Terry's the good one. Guy's the other person we settle for.
Dude, look at the. I guess these are like the joints where you can pose the. Dude, that's clever, man. And I'm assuming I didn't watch this video. Are these magnetic? Do you know, Lane? Are those little skulls magnetic?
You can. I'm not sure. You can attach them. I know to the backside
Lane.
and other parts of it.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't know
attaches. It's
exactly.
interesting. And that's the attachment point there for the cape. This is interesting, man.
Yeah,
look at the
because
depth in the video though, Lane, of the cape. There's a lot to it.
yeah, no, this is a very cool. But like you're right, if you have limited space, just with the hands and maybe the other ghouly thing, the side ghouls there or something. He doesn't come with a lot of special effects, but just the way the cape is, like you can't. I would maybe say that maybe that's the one thing. If there weren't some special like attachment to the hands you could do for some casting stuff, maybe that's the only thing. Like that's literally the only thing I could say maybe if they just had a couple effects attached to it, or something you could do. But like other than that, yeah, I think they clip into place probably. But
Yeah, that's what he said. They key.
They-
So I
they-
guess that's what he means, like a clip or
so
something.
but it looks like you were talking about. To me, it looks like they really did a good job of Hot Toys did. They were limited with the total number of extra pieces or stuff that they could give to it, but they managed to, for the design of the character, maximize the cape. And I mean, it's literally a giant ghoulie cape. Like that's what the main thing is with him. But they maximize giving you different looks to attach and everything like that to it, so that if you do get kind of that feel of extra pieces to it, even though it kind of also goes together into one big thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think they managed to really use what they had to work with from the design of the character and gave you a bunch of different things to use.
Yeah, and like even Lane, like the pose. Look at the wiring. Like,
Yeah, the wiring in this is probably. I think this is gonna like. This is a tough figure because I think it's amazing, but even more than we talked about, I can see why people would skip this figure just because.
Cool, man.
Yeah, just look at that. Like,
yeah, even just that. Like, if you have detolfs and you're like, I don't want to use the cape, I don't want to like overly pose it or anything. It looks so good. Blackbird said the cape is almost as big as the Falcon cap wingspan.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's pretty substantial, huh? Okay, this is where they're showing those little ghouls, how you attach them. Okay, so it's kind of like the bats that came with the Batman, the WB 100
that's
Batman.
kind of lame, but look at that whole setup. I guess the one thing I wish we could see, we'll have to see the other things. If, like you said, if the edges can get pulled in a little bit,
I think they should be able to be.
But even like you said, even if you're just able to attach the hands and stuff to him and everything, and lock the ones over his shoulder,
he looks amazing.
It's gonna look so cool. Like this guy, people were talking about a couple of years ago, because I mean, unfortunately, this tells you sometimes how long we have to wait for stuff. We're talking about putting this guy with the Mysterio Iron. Just think about this.
Oh
the
yeah,
Mysterio Iron Man, just like those two. And Deadpool would be cool too.
Dude, I love like the little broken little zombie hands that he has. It's just so like I was really hoping they did that. The one figure that I wanted from What If was that zombie cap that they showed, and they never freaking put it out, and I was so upset. No, I'm sorry, there were two. I wanted the T'Challa Star-Lord because that was Chadwick Boseman's last role. With Marvel, and then I wanted the zombie cap, and I was like, the zombie cap would look so good.
They gave us that new Iron Man that's almost $500 that everybody went, yeah, no Skittles for me, please. And
I mean, look at the posability. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah, jeez. But they didn't give us that zombie Iron Man or Captain America that would be like the best zombie thing ever.
I know. Like, there really is like so much to love about this figure. Like, look at the posability, dude. Like, I really can't say much more about this. I just love it.
But it is expensive. Let's not forget that. It's $385.
Blackbird Tech's considering it. He said it's tempting.
Yeah, but what if you had to make a choice between this guy or getting the upgraded suit Goblin? Because they're only $10. I would have to say.
That's
I mean,
a tough one.
I think
I'd
the one thing is the Goblin's going to take up more space than even this guy. Because that's a whole big 3D with the glider and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, for a big hog space thing, if you're going to put it out someplace, I'm just saying, like, if with all the figures coming out right now, that could be like a choice you kind of make.
Oh, for sure, they're coming out around the same time. It's an invoice you got to pay, definitely. Yeah, that's a tough choice to make. And Happy New Year to you, Julio. Thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Yeah, man, I don't know, dude. This is something else. And again, this is one of those, I feel like a lot of people's radars missed this one because it wasn't on their list.
It's still up for pre-order too.
Yeah, guys, you still have the option to pre-order in a lot of different places. Like, you want to get on this. I think I got mine through Off the Racks. I think this one was when I started pre-ordering.
He sold out of them.
Yeah, I think that's where I got him as well. OG says, Dead Strange on a flight stand with a cape wrapping forward towards Scarlet Witch with that spell and floor purifier. Exactly, yeah. So I want to see. They didn't really pose the cape much in this video, so I'm not really sure. I don't want to totally mislead you guys with how posable the cape is, but in the photos, it looked like it was pretty posable, so we'll see when someone actually gets it in hand. That's like really
so we think that's just a thick wire on top?
I think that's what I'm seeing. I don't really see any more opportunity anywhere else in the cape to put a wire.
It
because
looks
it's so
weird
thin.
just straight across, so I would think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
Like,
saw.
it's not
I showed you guys in the
articulated, it's
photo.
just
There
a
was like
thick
a
wire.
dip in the one side,
Yeah.
so it definitely has wire in it, but it's gonna have to be some pretty strong wire.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right now it looks like a shredded kite. Just
Yeah,
straight up.
right. That's basically what it is, right?
But I agree. If you make this cape look more alive, you know, like it's got a desire, like it's reaching out towards another figure, so it's really cool what you can do with it.
There's just so many options. Oh, Ian is here. Ian, it's great to see you, Ian. Ian says, hey, y'all, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year to you. Been a while. Life has been busy as hell. Yeah, it's same for all of us, man. I hear you. I really love the look of this figure. Had to cancel a few recently because of an unexpected family event. That's okay, man. That stuff happens, dude. You know, it's things are getting expensive. Oh, well, Iron Man Mark II. Yes, Iron Man Mark II does look insane. Loving the stream. Thank you so much, dude. And we appreciate you stopping by. As always great to see you. And I hope you had a happy New Year and a great Christmas. But yeah, guys, I mean, there's not much more else to say about this one. I think this is probably the most impressive figure for me in a while from Hot Toys from a technicality standpoint. The icing on the cake is going to be how well does I said cake twice. How well does this cape pose? If this cape is posable to where Lane can put him in his DTOF instead of the cape on, then I'm like, yeah, you got a real home run here and definitely a contender of probably one of the cooler figures that have come out this coming year, or this new year is 2024. So, Julio says, big news for 2024, guys. I heard Joker 89 is happening 100%. A friend of a friend said it's happening. Hey, if you guys watch the stream, you've been watching for a while. We've said it many times. We have faith in that Nicholson 2.0. You know, a lot of people throw around the licensing thing, and yeah, there was a lot of issues with that for a while, but I think Hot Toys could sort it out. And at the very least, guys, to get around that licensing, they could just reissue the original with better paint apps, and I'd be happy with it, and a better body, you know. So there's definitely, I think, a 2.0 Jack Nicholson Joker on the horizon for sure. I definitely have faith in that, so I'm right there with you guys. But yeah, guys, I don't know if you guys had any additional thoughts on the Dead Strange before we move on. I feel like we've kind of covered it all. Great looking figure, a really solid effort from Hot Toys, especially when we look at, like, you know, the issues we saw with the Toby Spider-Man versus this one. It's very surprising that they kind of executed so well on this one, being that this one probably had much lower pre-order numbers, I would imagine. So definitely really cool for sure, guys. We're going to move on to something very exciting. And I know everybody's going to speak up on this one. And that's Hot Toys dropping the bomb on us this week. The new year, they said, guys, we got some stuff for you. I'm not sure, Thick Bantha Boy. I'm not sure. I wasn't I was too focused on the cape, dude. You know, I'm not looking at the cakes. I'm looking at the cape.
I still can't get the tactical cakes out of my head.
Dude, I know. Guys, like, let me show you. Hot Toys.
My wife caught me looking at it, and she's like, "Why are you staring at his ass?" I was like, "How can you not?"
Like, bro, like, Hot Toys.
Damn,
this man
boy,
is caked
he's
up,
thick.
bro. Like, what the?
He's thick, boy.
Why is he so caked up? Like, I made, you know,
God.
Mike is referring to the YouTube short I made where I focused in on his cheeks there, but like, bro, like, what
Didn't you
the-
say he's bigger than Throbbing?
bro? Like, look, it's not just the back. It is not just the back, bro. This dude he's a literal brick. Now he poses like shit. I'll be honest with you guys, he poses like shit. He's so stiff, but he looks cool while doing it. He looks really cool.
You know, with Robin, you could hang up your bathroom towel in the front, but with those cheeks, you know, you can get the entire rack in there.
You can hang drywall on those cheeks, Sean. I think.
Oh god!
Like, bro, like, I did not expect that. I opened it up and I'm like, hold up.
It's like, what is that?
Why, dude? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not complaining.
Okay, boys, go get your towel racks ready. Batman's coming to town.
Right? Beskar does have him beat just by a little bit. He's up there with you, dude. Yours doesn't. I guess yours doesn't quite look like an action figure's ass, but I think you might have him beat. Thick Panther Boy says that's Bat's backside throughout. Yeah, that's. Bane, yes, Bane did waitlist. Ian, I do think that probably some places still have them. So if you search like Hot Toys Bane 2.0 on Google, I'm sure you might find some places that have it. I don't know any off the top of my head, or I would share it with you, but I do think Off the Racks is sold out for sure.
What about Underground
Oh
Figures?
yeah, Underground Figures. You know, our
Yeah.
boy Steve's always repping them. Check out Underground. Steve might know. Steve's still here. I don't know. But guys, sorry to sidetrack you with the cheeks there of Batman, but I just
My
thought that was
fault, my
too
fault.
fun. No, it was too funny. We had to talk about it because when you commented on my video, I was cracking up. So yeah, guys, we have some new IP announcements. I think 4 to be exact for 2024, and that doesn't include the ones that weren't touched. Wonka, Hot Toys, where you at? Guys, I want to say this right now, and you know, Chris has seen the film. Wonka absolutely blew me away. I loved it. Timothy Chalamet, he just did such a great job. Timothy Chalamet really shocked me in that film. I thought the singing, the songs, the composure of the songs, and everything was great. There's some really nice, touchy moments towards the end, kind of a nod to our Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka at the end. Just, it's such a fantastic film. If you guys haven't seen it, get over. It's not Gene Wilder, it's not Johnny Depp, and go see it. It's really special, and I think it fits in really well in the universe.
I agree with that. I had
Absolutely
no clue,
loved it.
no expectation. I didn't know what to expect, and I came out super happy.
Right, because I'm a fan of Timothy from Dune. I'm a big fan of Dune. I really love Dune. And so I went in knowing that I like him as an actor, but I'm like, how is this going to work as Willy Wonka? And I'm happy to say it was awesome. I really loved it.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, so absolutely, guys, definitely go see it if you haven't already, if you have the time. I haven't seen Aquaman yet. If I had to pick between the two, I think based on the ratings I've seen from Aquaman, I think people are liking Wonka more, but I definitely still want to see that. Bantha, no, only because I think they're two different, you know, this movie is very much a musical in a lot of ways. There's a lot of music involved. There's still some normal acting, so don't worry if you're like, oh, I don't want to listen to music the whole time. I don't want to hear them sing. It's not all singing, but there's a lot of music involved. Whereas with Johnny Depp, I feel like, you know, being that was a Tim Burton film, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory film, I feel like it was a bit more like dark in some ways and a much different portrayal. I think I could see
that one had
more...
the scariest dentist in the history of the world.
Right, yeah, Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee is your dentist.
The scariest
I'd be
dentist
like,
known to
yeah,
man.
no, I'll just rot my teeth out instead.
Right, yeah,
Well,
exactly.
that was his own spin on the story. Like, that never happened. But
Yeah.
regardless of that stuff, Depp's is still, like, closer to the books, although it does have that little spin on it. But Timmy's definite, like, all three of them are unique in their own way. Like, the first two obviously try to do with the book, and then this one is, like, I believe, like, its own thing. It's so unique. It's different. I like it.
It's almost like, Chris, it's like, without, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's almost like when you see Timothy's version, it's like he's a young, hopeful Willy Wonka, and then, you know, we get to Gene Wilder, where he's like kind of fed up in some ways. You know, he's still
almost
Willy
like a
Wonka,
mixture of both, like that
Yeah.
humor in there, but also
that like bubbly
musical.
nature, like
Yeah.
Depp's version had. So it's a great mix of the two, and I think you guys really love it.
Man.
Just give it a chance.
It's got the
Man.
magic of Wonka for sure.
Man, I just got a notice from Sideshow that just put me in the blue zone. Apparently, my 501st Legion trooper is now not supposed to come through till June through August of this summer. It was delayed too.
Oh man, hey,
I'm just like,
and Underground. By the way, sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off. Underground does have have Batman. Or did you mean Bane, Sean? Or are you talking about the Batman?
No, the Batman.
Oh, they have the Batman. Okay, if you guys are looking for the Batman, sorry to cut you off, Lane. If you guys are looking for the Batman, Underground Figures apparently has him. But
so
yeah,
I'm just going of all the figures from the Obi-Wan line, the one that does not have a head
The
sculpt
easiest
or
one,
switch out
right?
pieces.
yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah.
But guys, let's talk about these
What was that?
licenses.
What got
right?
delayed? I missed it.
The 501st Legion Trooper, the one from Kenobi.
Oh,
Yeah, I know a lot of people.
Well,
are like,
no.
I got my 501st.
Yeah, Bane. That's where. All right, we're getting some confusion here. Sorry, Steve. Sean was mentioning something about the Batman. Do they have Bane? That's what we're asking about. We were asking about Bane. So sorry for the confusion. We're getting confused here. But yeah, guys, let's talk about these IP announcements. We have 85 years of Marvel, which is obviously, you know, I don't even want to know what they could touch with that. Are they going to touch like the first Avengers film again? Are they going to,
Please.
maybe give us
It's
a
also not
die-cast
true.
Ultron?
It's also not true. Marvel started in '61. They were Timely and Atlas before this, so like
Yeah,
a bit of a
I wonder what they're
stretch
basing
from a
that off
marketing.
of.
it's just like I think that's when Timely Comics started, which was then like acquired and then rebranded as Marvel. But whatever, I think they're just trying to compete with DC on a longevity scale, you know.
Right.
But anyway,
they do have
whatever.
Bane. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I was like, aren't they older than 85 years?
61. They're younger. Yeah, 61.
Or younger than 85.
Yeah, they started in 1961.
Yeah, so it's interesting the marketing tactics they have for some of these anniversary lines, but
yeah.
Either way, like the potential is huge, right? Like we know we don't even really have to think about the Hono Studio stuff in terms of the comic stuff because we know Hono is going to pump that out. They've actually been posting on their Instagram a lot, asking people like what they would like to see from the Hono Studio line for the comic figures, like asking about features, asking about characters. So it seems like they're really going to go in on the Hono Studio comic stuff. So, you know, we can already assume that we're going to get plenty of that. So this is, you know, this could tie in Avengers. This could tie in a lot of different stuff, right? It's just like, you know, what are they going to touch with this? We don't know. You know, how deep are they going to go into this line? What does this encompass? There's so many questions. I have more questions about this than anything else. Surprisingly, I know there's one in particular. People are like, what is that? I think I kind of have a general idea what they're going to do with it, but. Nice. Yes. Joe said, yes, Underground has Bane. They sold out, but he popped back up again yesterday, and I grabbed the pre-order there. Still in stock. Awesome. That figure's going to be amazing, dude. I cannot wait for that figure. As long as they don't mess it up.
Yeah.
So here's the big one. The big one, I think the big one's coming up next. Hold up. So, guys, I did do a poll. There it is. I did a poll on the channel about, like, all these new IP announcements, what people are most excited for.
I told you.
Yeah, let me pull up my poll. I'm not gonna pull it up on screen, but just to get the numbers. Yeah, I figured it would be too. So actually, guys, out of all the votes in the poll that I put up, we have how many votes? There were. It's not showing me right now. But there was over 162 votes. 40% said that the Phantom Menace 25th was their most exciting announcement for the IPs, and then behind that, with 27%, was Batman 85 Years, and then behind that was Star Wars Darkseid with 25%. So a mere 8% said Marvel 85 Years. Does that tell you guys how people feel about Marvel right now? Because I think it does.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, Marvel.
That's why I think Hono Studios is a great announcement, great timing to reinvigorate the interest in Marvel. You know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very perfect timing, and we kind of mentioned that before when we saw that Wolverine pop up. We're like, yeah, because all these third-party companies are starting to do it. People are asking for these figures. People are paying a lot for some of those Mondo figures.
Oh yeah,
but this one, guys, this is big, and we kind of had, we had a feeling this was coming. Hot Toys has focused in on a lot of these anniversaries, other than Return of the Jedi for some reason. I'm gonna go in with reserved hopes because I made myself look like an idiot with Return of the Jedi. I put too much faith in Hot Toys that they were going to go ham last year with Return of the Jedi, and obviously,
as long as they do,
everybody did.
Kenobi, I'm good.
Yeah, a lot of us did.
To give me his Padawan Kenobi, and I'm good.
So
I feel the same, and he's in the image. Like you have to do it. You know.
Yeah.
That's the only one out of the lot. Like they did Qui-Gon, they did Darth Maul.
So let's name off some, Padawan and Obi-Wan, young Anakin, Jar Jar, Droidicas. Like there's a Padme.
I'll take
Queen Amidala,
B1s, the light color,
Sebulba,
Sebulba.
Yeah, I'll take
Watto.
Anybody from the council, any aliens,
any of the B1 droids.
Dude,
yeah, right? The sand color. Yeah,
Chris was talking about it too. Like they could do
Sideshow did all those different commanders and stuff like that. Like, I'm surprised.
Also, we've seen the proto of that, the B1, so I'd be surprised. Like even on a staff, right? So
they could give you a Phantom Menace Yoda as well.
OG wants 3 different Queen Amidalas. Me, if we only give us one, I want the red look. I already have that third party on pre-order, but Kit basically said you'll see that when you see it because that company's extremely slow.
They could give you another R2.
They could
3PO all wired,
skinless. Yeah. So what about if they do give us the Jedi treatment? What 2 figures? And I don't think anyone would have said of Jedi. They're going to give us a Vader and a 3PO. Like who would have guessed those would be the only 2, right?
Like Vader, I would have guessed Vader.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Vader and Luke, I would have guessed maybe, or Vader and the Emperor.
100%, yeah.
But I mean, if you think about, there's already a couple Return of the Jedi figures out there.
Yeah, they're just not branded as such. But at the end of the day, who cares? And that's the same thing with Episode 2. You had all these figures, but you also had the unbranded anniversary figures like Boba Fett. Jango Fett. You had
Qui-Gon.
Dooku.
The DX-15.
You had Yoda.
You know, so yeah, Yoda, right? Yeah, they just didn't fall in line with an
DX-16.
anniversary.
I said DX-15.
Yeah.
DX-16,
So they can still have
DX-17.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and someone mentioned Artisan Qui-Gon. I don't think that's out of the question.
That'd be amazing.
Because
man.
that figure,
Yeah.
as much as we love that character,
The
guys,
sculpt is
that
controversial.
hair is shit. That hair is shit. Literally, here's the movement on his head. That's the movement on his head, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if anything's going to get the artisan treatment, I wouldn't be mad. I would get another one. I wouldn't be mad because that one needs it. It really does.
I'll tell you
need
what,
it.
the body and the tailoring on him though, like I absolutely.
Oh yeah, and I think it's
I love
Liam Neeson's a very tall, awkward shaped guy, like a lanky guy. So I think they did a good job with the body selection. The hair is just really bad. It's like a solid, and you know we saw it with the Fat Thor. He has that long, thick hair, but it's a much more flexible plastic. They learned their lesson with that Qui-Gon. They're like, oh, we really messed up here, right? They used a really dense, like plastic, and it's just weird, man. It's really weird.
They've slowed down with the artisan announcements, right? Because we were getting one a month.
Yeah,
and
last
it's
one
been a
was
couple
Scarlet
months.
Witch.
And
That was the last
they
one.
can give you if they want to do Jar Jar, like if there's a 2-pack with some of his like the Gungan army and stuff.
Beskar's
So you
saying
can
Captain
include
Tarpals,
weapons.
like they could have them together because he's also a Gungan, I believe. That's
And like the bombs and stuff, you know, where he's juggling and
oh yeah, that would be hilarious, dude.
And
I
if
don't
you
care
think
what
about
anybody
it,
says,
the
I'd
real-
be all for it, man. I'd be all for it.
Dude, the real fans of these movies are in their 30s now, right? So they finally have, you know, maybe the expendable cash to spend on these kind of figures, and they've come of age for. I want them to go crazy with these prequel figures, man, because they have the market for it now. You
I
know,
know they did
People will
Attack of
buy
the
it,
Clones,
dude.
so I can
People
only
will
hope
buy
they
this
do
stuff.
for.
I
I mean, with all this stuff here and everything, you know, kind of look at reality because ROTJ, that damn what happened to us for all of us Return of the Jedi
yeah,
fans.
we got scammed.
You know, it's if you think about it, you know, for Padme, I don't see them doing a big luxurious dress or anything. I could see them maybe giving us Tatooine Padme and maybe when she was on Naboo,
Yeah.
you know, for retaking the palace version. And that would probably be it.
That
One
that
of
would
those
be a good
versions.
version, right? When
Yeah.
like they go into the hangar and they see all of the starfighters pulling off and stuff. Yeah, that'd be a good.
Here's the thing with that Return of the Jedi thing that I think could play into it as well. Like, didn't Snowspeeder, like the Luke sit, and didn't Lando, I know for sure, and I still see him.
Lando's still there.
Comic shop.
Yeah, that was also Chris. That was also kind of a different time too. So I don't want to give them the credit there, where they're like, "Oh, stuff was sitting." Because I mean,
Yeah,
look
no,
what they-
but Hot Toys could be looking at like the OG stuff or the OT stuff is not like selling unless it's like some big character such as like a Vader.
I don't know. I bet
Luke
you they
or
sold a
whatever.
lot of those Snowspeeder Lukes. It was just still in that era of overstocking. Lando, though, you do have a point with that one. Lando is notorious. It doesn't matter who makes Lando. Star Wars Vintage Collection, Black Series. He always
Yeah, I don't know
sits.
how he didn't.
Always.
There's
always
there's
sits.
so many people that canceled Lando.
Yeah, he always sits. Always sits. And yeah, and then a bunch of people canceled it because they were having concerns about
After
the
they
script and
asked
everything.
for him though, constantly.
Yeah.
See, I think Lando's awesome, and
I love that figure.
how Hot
dude.
Toys made Lando
I'm
it
waiting-
does not
I
get the
want Return of the
recognition
Jedi.
it deserves.
Yeah.
You know, but another comment I wanted to make too on the 25th for the Phantom Menace was, you know, if they're going to start pumping out Jedis for us, I can see them doing it for the Phantom Menace versus Revenge of the Sith. Like if they're going to start pumping out Jedis from the Jedi Council or anything, this is the time to do it now. For this, based off out of this movie, because for Revenge of the Sith, Hot Toys would be stupid to not pump out just clones
Yeah.
for that, because that would be easy money for them to make. And there's so many Clone Wars fans. I mean, I know this one guy that has like a ton of them in his basement, and I don't know why, but he does.
Yeah, that guy's a weirdo.
I know, right? But
Yeah, what a loser.
Yeah, forget
man.
that guy. He took them all.
I know,
Yeah,
it's my fault.
He took all the clones.
He took 'em all.
Bought 'em all. Lando is underrated. I totally agree. Lando is absolutely underrated. I think we all the Star Wars fans here would agree. Billy D. Williams is the man, dude. I love Lando. So good to see you. And then I agree with Chris though. The general version of Lando would be awesome. I would love to see like a general Lando with the brown and the cape. Dude, that would be amazing. And that's like the classic meme too, right? Where he's smiling. Like I would love that, dude. Come on now. Yeah, that guy is a clone super freak. He is. But yeah, guy, I think there's a lot of opportunity. I don't want to jump the gun again with the Return of the Jedi. They got me good with that one. But it's still possible too that they could pull a Bespin Luke and give us some Return of the Jedi stuff, just not under the Return of the Jedi anniversary name. It's very possible. So I'm not going to fully give up hope that they're just done with the Return of the Jedi line, because I feel like Hot Toys probably wanted to do more than they were capable of doing with all the other stuff that they had going on last year. Now, Mike and I have talked about this recently. This whole Marvel and DC drought is probably going to be good for stuff like this, because then Hot Toys is like, oh, cool, we don't have to get spanked by Disney all year, them telling us to make this, that, and the other. So let's kick out some other stuff, and that's why we're seeing this. And we're going to look at we might as well.
Can I say one final note too?
Sure.
Because it adds on to. It's the 25th. Like we didn't get many from Phantom Menace, and we didn't get many from Attack of the Clones. You had like what we already said: Count Dooku, Yoda, Django, and that was probably about it. Versus like your Return of the Jedi, you got Leia and Wicket, but then you also got the 2-pack of that. You got Emperor Palpatine.
Scout Trooper.
You got a Luke. I mean, yeah, and you got Scout Trooper, the bike. Like, there was a lot more that kind of went with that film. So maybe they were just like, yeah, we'll do a couple. And they can still save for more. Whereas Phantom Menace, there's a lot more that they haven't done, just like Attack of the Clones, so they can spit out a few.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And Steve, it is certainly like
Yeah,
still
makes sense.
up in the air, what they're going to do with this. With Attack of the Clones, we did get a decent amount of stuff. It just really depends on timing and everything. But again, I think now more than ever with the DC and Marvel drought, after Echo, it's gonna be a little bit before they push out any more stuff. And I don't want to say that the Ahsoka line's done yet either, because it's not. There's more coming. I mean, we still have that Death Trooper, which Hot Toys, if you're listening, if you release that Death Trooper without that cracked mask, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm just letting you know.
Howard just heard you, and he's
bro,
not going
I'm
to do
gonna be
it.
so pissed if they.
What's the one?
They better listen, because after just putting out that zombie Strange man, we
Right,
know
just put
that
the
they can
freaking
pull it
Dead
off.
Strange helmet underneath. I don't care if you reuse part of that sculpt. Just do something. If you release that Death Trooper, the real Death Trooper from the book, like, bro, just give us a Death Trooper. I'm hoping that the reason it hasn't been announced yet is because they didn't finish that sculpt. Like, just give us 2 helmets. Give us 2 helmets. Or you do something, or like a piece that magnetizes, that pulls off. I don't care what you do. If they announce that figure and it doesn't have that helmet, I am going to be so pissed, because that is pure laziness right there. If they do that and they just reuse the Death Trooper body and paint it up and don't give us that helmet, it's not going to be that hard for them to do. Please, Hot Toys, please. If you're listening, please give us that helmet.
I already
So,
said the naked.
You want Hot Toys to give you that helmet?
Yeah, I want Hot Toys to give me that helmet, Sean. I'm going to be pissed if they don't. Because, going along with our Dead Strange, I want a dead Death Trooper. That's what I want. I want my zombie trooper.
He wants that helmet.
Exactly. Vic
With
Banthaway
the
says
cheeks,
episode
the
1
helmet with the
multi-troop
cheeks.
transport. That would be cool, dude. There's a lot more opportunities. I mean, I think that's probably giant, but maybe they could do like a partial.
The protocol
display.
droid in the beginning too.
Yeah, that's true. That could be cool too.
Yeah, and the droidicas, like if you look at the RoboCop armor, how they were able to get that coloration, they could really nail that on the droidica
Dude,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
and with
stick an acrylic bubble or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
dude.
the bubble around it. Hell yeah.
That'd be amazing. I'd be so hyped for that. I'd be totally hyped for that. Beskar says Ahsoka series over Return of the Jedi. I mean, at this point, yeah, for sure. I mean, the amount of stuff they're putting out for Ahsoka versus Return of the Jedi. That's the thing, guys. It's like, it's so hard to determine what they're going to do. But that also shows you like current events and licensing with Disney really comes into play, right? Because Return of the Jedi 40th, 2 figures, Ahsoka, they're pumping them out like there's no tomorrow. So that just shows you how it works out sometimes. Good evening / morning to you, Hot Toys Collector. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being in here. It's great to see you. Yes, we do need Balin and Shin. We absolutely need Balin and Shin. Yeah, OG's like, those are fighting words, Beskar, of course. But guys, we actually had an announcement for another Star Wars license, and this is like a really interesting one, right? And a lot of people are like, Star Wars Dark Side, what is that?
Now that I think about it, it's looking like Mustafar.
Yeah, we got some
Raiders.
Mustafar vibes there, guys. I've talked to a couple people about this. I think this is Hot Toys' way of saying, screw being locked in by Disney to Return of the Jedi, 40, all these anniversaries for everything. We're gonna make a line to where we can hit all these different eras and do figures.
I
like
would
that.
love to finally see like an Asajj Ventress.
Right.
That's
So
what I'm
Chris, is this our opportunity to get a Asajj Ventress? Is this our opportunity to get another Palpatine? Maybe they're like
maybe.
a Savage Press. Like, I mean, they could do a lot. This might not just be.
I'll take a Revenge of the Sith pounce.
Someone mentioned Revan, like Revan as a possibility. I mean, that's
a lot of
little
people
far
want him
fetched,
too.
but
All of that
time-
stuff would be great. But let's remember the next thing on the docket's the Acolyte, right? Which is about the dark side.
yeah.
But
Don't
you know,
remind me.
believe me, I have zero interest in that show. Unfortunately, I wish I did, but I hope this is not like a catch-all because they're concerned. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes negativity with that show. So I hope this isn't a catch-all. It's like, well, we'll see if that show is a hit, and then we can produce some figures for it. But I hope this is really like what you were saying. Go deep with some dark side figures that we already know and love. Take advantage of the lull, maybe.
You know what I'm expecting? I'm expecting a Star Wars light side line. That's, when I take this as a grain of salt, I'm thinking that's what they're going to do. This is just their way of kind of, being able to do a bunch of different figures and not being tied. And I think it's smart.
Yeah.
Other companies have done it. Funko has done it. Funko has a whole line of pops where it's all like dark side and they're all in like this lava base, and it's been done before. So it makes sense for Hot Toys to dive into this and not be tied to films and stuff like that. So I think this is really cool, and it has a lot of I mean, who's to say that?
Bro,
Dark
look at
Ray
Thick
is out of the
Bantha
question?
Boys.
Thick Bantha Boys said this show was wild and out, talking about the chocolate factory, cakes, going deep, dark side, even that helmet. Oh boy. Yeah, I know, bro. Come on, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, right?
Bro, like Tales of the Jedi. That would be a sick line to get.
Dude, I wanted a Jedi Dooku so bad.
It would be amazing, right? But like Tales of the Sith is also very exciting to think about. Now they haven't announced anything like that.
Yeah.
But that's what I get excited about. This kind of like a focus on something, which is really cool.
Yeah, and who's to say this isn't where they bust out Dark Side Anakin?
Yeah.
True. I mean, dark side could be anything too. I mean, we could be looking at potential Imperial officers.
Yeah, it could be Paz Vizsla. Would he could be considered a part of the dark side? I guess
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Paz Vizsla, Pre Vizsla. You guys know.
I know what you mean.
We know what you meant though, but you're right. Pre-Vizsla.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of potential here. Because this doesn't say Sith. This says dark side. So
this is where we get
value,
Snoke.
This might be where we get our yes. I would buy a Snoke. I would, because you guys know I got a sequel trilogy display covering all the films. I would buy a Snoke.
Yeah, so do I. I would take it.
I don't need a Snoke.
Yeah,
don't need a Snoke.
You're right though. Dark side Sith is a very kind of narrow,
right?
Definition, right? Dark side could be a lot broader, and that's good.
Right, it's definitely a good thing. I much prefer dark side than Sith for sure, because there's.
Have you guys ever heard of Darth Plagueis the Wise? You ever heard of that?
Oh, school me, Master Madness.
What is he capable of?
He could stop people from dying.
No, I want to hear Lord Madness talk about it.
Lord Madness, talk about
Lord Madness.
Right,
Darth Madness.
First, you take the cakes, and then what you do is. Oh wait, we're live. We'll talk about this backstage.
Yeah, CSI Starkiller would be really cool, but he's not canon, so that probably won't be able to be done, unfortunately, because this is all officially licensed. It's unfortunate. Trust me. I mean, actually, I don't want to say that. I'm lying because Black Series. I'm stupid. Black Series just did a Star Killer figure. They did 2 different sets. So actually, that's not off the table. I mean, if Black Series can do it, they're officially licensed. I'm just completely erase everything I just said because I completely forgot Black Series just did one. And
Yeah.
Vintage Collection, they did a Vintage Collection one as well. So scratch that, reverse it.
Reverse.
That's actually
I
possible.
knew it.
That's from Willy Wonka, by the way, guys. If you haven't seen it, but no, absolutely. Star Killer is actually possible. I think that's very possible. Actually, just ignore everything I just said in the past 30 seconds, apart from me scratching that and reversing it. But yeah, guys, there's a lot of potential here. This one's really exciting for sure. Sorry, what'd you say, Sean?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Another thing we could be looking at too is like, you remember like all the short videos we got last year for Star Wars? Like it could even go to the depths of like a younger Count Dooku and when he was a Jedi Knight and all that stuff.
Mother Talzin, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Mother
I
Talzin.
love Mother Talzin. Old Daka.
But-
I would take Old Daka. More so
Oh,
Mother
yeah.
Talzin, but especially Mother Talzin now that we have, you know, her.
The Ahsoka.
Right, exactly. Ahsoka
Yeah.
speaking her name with the blade. Yeah, that would be really cool. There is, and I'm worried this episode will lose monetization. Well, it's all right, dude. If I don't get my 3 cents from this episode, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, Sith Stalker Star Killer would be amazing, dude. With that armor, dude, that'd be like the best look, in my opinion. That'd be like my ultimate Star Killer if I had to pick one. But having both.
Wow,
would be
that
even
what
cooler.
about that in then Dark Side or like fallen Dark Side Luke Skywalker in Flight Suit?
Oh, you're talking about the one from the Force Unleashed? Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I
You
thought
could
you were
do
talking
the-
about like the
or-
old book
or
whatever.
Jedi Leia.
when he turned dark.
Yeah, Jedi.
Or even
Leia.
Amara Jade, because she was, assistant to the
Oh,
the
yeah.
Emperor and all that.
Emperor's
So,
hand.
I just
Yeah.
really hope that Hot Toys is thinking outside the box like we are right now, because there's really so much they could do with this. Like it's unfathomable. Like, and again, I think lines like this are popping up, Mike. We talked about it because of the
Yeah.
gap in content. I think that's why this is popping
And
up
uncertainty
now.
with how the content's going to be
Exactly.
accepted.
So they're like,
I-
oh, well,
I-
screw it. We could just grab from
that-
stuff
that,
that we know
you know,
people love. You know.
That could be why there's a little bit of gap right now for Ahsoka, is they went far in, but they were trying to, before they
Oh,
were
yeah.
developing other figures, they wanted to see overall how it's been received and stuff. So
Yeah.
and
They
it
had
has
their
been
easy
received
one.
well, right? I mean, they've been
Mostly.
on the top seller up
Yeah.
there, right?
yeah, they've been mostly received well. I think the show overall kind of a mixed reception.
Yeah, but the
that's,
figures.
that's like Disney Star Wars in general. So it's not like
Yeah.
85 years of Batman. Who would have thunk it? More
I
Batman.
want, I know someone mentioned 92 Batman Returns, absolutely, but I want Kevin Conroy stuff. That's what I want. Bring out the Kevin Conroy Batman here. I mean, and they could even
but Mondo
revisit.
does that though.
Yeah, but here's
but
the
I don't
question.
want
Mondo
Mondo.
does.
That's why I don't buy the Mondo stuff.
I know,
want-
but I'm just saying they do that line.
Oh, I know they do, but
But-
I don't collect the Mondo stuff, so I want Hot Toys to bust it out. Sorry,
But
go ahead, Mike.
do they do this? Do they do this? Do they give it the Clone Wars treatment and give you the realistic
I'd be fine with that.
Kevin
dude.
Conroy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
I'd be cool
awesome,
with
right? Because you'd have like the suit, you'd have all the classic like iconography of the show, but you'd
I
have
think
realistic head
that's what we got
sculpts.
Dude,
Exactly.
I would
That
rather,
realism.
I would like to see him do some of the commentary. Do like Frank Miller, do a year one Batman based off
Be
the
amazing.
comics in a realistic style, or a Dark Knight Returns. Old big muscly. They
Bro,
got big ass muscle bodies that they can use, like Bane.
But you're a statue collector, Lane. You know how Prime One does like Jason Fablock, and like they really
Yeah.
highlight the artists, and then they produce something based on that artwork. It'd be
Mhm.
incredible to get figures based on the specific designs
Well,
of these
we
artists.
know that they can do something along those lines because they've been kind of slowly, a little bit here and there, doing that. First, where it was kind of a conversion from animated to sort of in the middle or realistic style with like Clone Wars with the clones. We've seen obviously the What If, because some of those like the Iron Man, the head sculpt that comes in the suit for the Scarin.
Yeah, it's
Scarian
stylized.
Iron Man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely animated stuff. But even Captain Carter, the Steve Rogers with the Hydra Stomper,
Yeah.
maybe even more so. You guys, the classic suit Iron Man series, and especially that classic suit, the limited edition one that came with the comic head sculpt. We know that they can do stuff like that, and
Yeah, Killing Joke too. Yeah.
something, yeah, or something along those lines. If they could
Killing
do a
Joke,
film
artisan
like
Joker, so you can put his hands in his
Dude.
hair.
yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, they I don't now this could be just tying in for where you were talking about with the Joker 2.0.
Yeah, I want a
But-
Mark Hamill animated Joker too. Like, let's
Yeah.
not forget,
Oh
Batman
my
could be a
God.
multitude
Yeah,
of
but
things.
well, I
right,
mean, but
guys?
I'm
Of course,
talking
all the
Nicholson Joker.
villains
This
in
could-
that
could
show,
fit
yeah.
Yeah, dude, do a Poison Ivy because who knows when we'll get a good in movie live action Poison Ivy.
No, I want a
use
Hot
that
Toys
Poison Ivy.
Clayface.
Dude, Matt Hagen Clayface would be awesome. I mean, Man Bat. I mean, the Mondo Man Bat's amazing, but if they could do kind of with like you were talking with Dead Strange, imagine what a nightmare fuel
Yeah.
like kind
You
of
think
live
there's like
action
a-
esque edition of Man Bat they could do.
You,
Oh,
you think
Jim
there's
Lee
like a
Hush.
tell sign, like it's not just like a cowl or like the bat symbol, it's specific, like it looks animated almost.
Yeah. Dude, I was just thinking the same
Yeah,
thing.
no,
Like,
I think
look at
that's
that logo.
telling for sure. You know what's funny?
Right.
When I first saw this, I had just pre-ordered those new S-Hero figures, the Superman and the Batman, the animated ones. And I was like, talk about timing, dude. I was like, if Hot Toys does it, I'm like, damn, I should have pre-ordered this one. But those are really cool looking figures. I had to get them. But yeah, I was getting that vibe too, Chris and Mike. Like I thought I saw this and I'm like, is this them diving into the animated Batman stuff? I hope so.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Really
it'd be
cool.
really cool.
I mean, with Batman in 85 years, that could be anything. They could
Could
start
be
picking up
anything,
the
yeah.
Arkham line again.
Yeah, they could revisit some of
You
the older
know?
Arkham figures for sure. I mean, some of them are kind of new still, but some of the older ones, yeah, for sure, they could redo those. Especially like
Or
the
just-
original, like the Arkham City stuff. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Or give us what they never gave us before, like Two-Face, Penguin,
Mhm.
Mr. Freeze.
yeah, Mr. Freeze.
Or maybe they'll finally give us an officially licensed Riddler
Hmm.
from the Batman.
Or even, like for example, if they went to animated series,
That'd
I
be
would
amazing.
love a Bat Cycle from the animated series with the helmet, and or even the Batmobile,
Dude,
or
an
with this
animated
here.
Batman Beyond would be amazing.
Oh,
True.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
it's
from the Batman in 2022, maybe we can get the freaking Batmobile from there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like this is covering everything, so it's like there's a lot they could do with this. But I got a few more short topics, guys. I know we have some third-party stuff. I know a lot of people like to talk about that, especially myself, because you guys don't really into third-party stuff. So I wanted to cover a few things just really quickly. We're not going to spend too much time on it because we're 2 hours in here. But yeah, guys, there's some very exciting stuff from these new IP announcements. It's hard not to get overly excited because I know that we kind of got shafted on the Return of the Jedi stuff. So we just got to wait and see, right? It's one of those things. Let's wait and see. Let's have fun together discovering this stuff as they announce the figures. And I think it's going to be a really fun year for Hot Toys.
Yeah, if
And
we
again,
work
Hot Toys,
together.
give me
we can
my
discover
Willy
it,
Wonka
see.
now. I want my Willy Wonka. I'm on a high from that film. And I really
Want the
that figure to be
chocolate?
announced. Throw Chris into your pocket. All right.
Yep.
Really quick,
Better
guys.
watch
A
your words,
really,
pal.
oh yeah, I don't want to get punched through the screen.
Yeah, I'm
A
about to
really
take your helmet.
exciting announcement. It seems like a lot of companies, third-party wise, have a lot of interest in interstellar stuff lately.
It's a
Yeah,
good
they
movie.
do. It's very random, but they
Very
look cool.
random, but so I want to preface this by saying this, guys. I believe this is the same company that did that penguin, the Danny DeVito penguin from Returns. I know a lot of people had their thoughts about that figure, including myself.
Is this
I wasn't-
Eternal?
This is Eternal Toys, yes.
Yeah, then it's the same company.
Right. So take that with a grain of salt when you're looking at these photos because we don't, we're not 100% certain what the final product's going to be, but this is a really cool set. You got this dick, Matt Damon's character. What an absolute dick in the movie, right?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. But
Matt Damon.
you got man. You can. So guys, I'll show you guys this. You get a 2-pack. This is the all-in pack, and the cool thing about this is you actually get the plain clothes. You don't get the body, but you get the plain clothes and the outfit set and the head sculpt to make like a plain clothes Cooper when he's on the farm, which I think is really cool.
It's dope.
That's just kind of bonus accessories. That only comes with a 2-pack, though. You can't buy it by itself, and it doesn't come with the Cooper figure by
How
itself.
much is it?
I think the all-in set's like $330, which isn't bad for what you get.
Can I make a
It's pretty
Drifter Bruce Wayne with that?
you probably could. Although, I didn't bring this up on the stream. I don't have photos of it, but Topo is doing a Drifter Bruce Wayne outfit set. They just teased it last week. So
Awesome.
hell yeah, I'm gonna be using that Batman. So
Hell yeah.
Thanks for reminding me. I completely forgot to pull up a photo of that. It was just, I think they just showed a photo of him from the film, just saying they were doing it. But Topo is known to do really good stuff, especially for like John Wick and stuff like that. So
Dude, yeah, keep us abreast of that one, dude. I want that.
We'll talk about that. I'm absolutely pre-ordering that. Like we were just talking about that we wanted someone to do a Drifter look, and Topo's like, hold my beer, I got you. But yeah, for sure, it's going to be really cool. I can't wait to see that. Moose says, I have the Penguin figure. I like this. Yeah, dude, it looks really good. I like how the spacesuit looks. And, you know, Don, I trust Don the most when it comes to spacesuits. And Don pre-ordered this day one, I think. I think he already ordered it. So I'm really interested in this one, especially because it comes with that extra Cooper stuff. I would definitely get the 2-pack for sure. But you can get Man by himself, and you can get Cooper by himself. So that's good. It just sucks that they're kind of paywalling the plainclothes Cooper, because you would think they would do that one for like $120 and call it a day and sell the plainclothes. But
They always do that with deluxe.
yeah, I get
stuff.
it. They're trying to sell a deluxe set, but yeah, I thought this was really cool. I'm definitely thinking about pre-ordering this one, and I do love that they went all out with the copyright and gave us the NASA logos and everything on the chest. Definitely love to see that.
Yeah, because like I love the whole space thing, and I loved this film, and every time they did a figure, it just like for some reason I didn't want to jump on it from Intercept, but this like being a set like this, and now there's more than just Matt Damon's character. Kind of
this is cool. And then I forgot who it was. Someone else is doing other figures from this line. We had the one company, they wanted like $500 for the Cooper.
It was insane.
Like, no, thank you. The suit looked really nice, but the sculpt was like mediocre. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm definitely considering, because I really love that movie. Interstellar is such a great film. But guys, we have a release coming from Mars Toys, and everybody's always on the Mars Toys page asking when's this coming out, when's that coming out. We do have a release from Mars Toys. And this is our Bruce Wayne here, our Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne, aka Mr. W, or the MAT012 is the number on this one. I think it looks awesome, guys. I know a lot of people had, you know, I would say most people were pretty positive about the sculpt. Some people were saying that Mars missed the mark. You know, that seems to be, I want to put it this way. I feel like people are becoming more, have higher expectations with the third-party stuff, especially from like Mars Toys or So Toys, because they do such good sculpts. I think people are kind of raising their expectations. Sometimes, I feel like sometimes for the price point to an unreasonable level, if that's okay to say, because I think this sculpt looks pretty good, guys. And I saw, you know, someone was mentioning like, oh, I don't think it's fair to compare to the Hot Toys one. Well, I'm going to compare them only because in a way that these are my two options. I'd rather have this one. The Hot Toys one is very old at this point. It's 7 years old. So in a way, yes, they're unfair to compare. But if I'm saying like I would rather have this than that older Hot Toys one, that's how I'm gonna take a stance on it. I did pre-order this one. I will be getting this for a review. So I can't wait to take a look at it. I don't know about you guys. I see Michael Keaton there, especially with the glasses. I think the glasses definitely help with the likeness a little bit. But I think this looks good. I'm happy with it. I think the clothes look good. I like the tailoring on it. Mars has been pretty solid with the tailoring on everything I own from him. And also, guys, if you're not aware, Mars is also Saturn Toys. So if you don't have Mars Toys, but you have the dynamic duo, Batman and Robin from '66, you'll be familiar with Mars Toys products because it's the same company. But I'm happy with it. I'm not disappointed at all. And I can't wait to get it in because I know eventually Hot Toys is going to give us that 92 returns Batman again. If not, you know, we have the reissue, I should say 2.0 rather, of the 89, and this is going to go great with that. So I'm really excited for this one. Again, I don't know how you guys feel about the Keaton likeness, but for me, I think at most angles it looks pretty good. Joe P says, this is fine, which is what I hope for with a third party and their prices. Yeah, I mean, again, it's about setting, for me, you know, some people would probably think this is blasphemy, but I think price points do dictate your expectations, right? Like, you know, from InArt, when you're buying a rooted figure, you expect the most, and also because that's kind of like their mission statement. Or from Hot Toys with these artisan figures, you expect the most because of the price behind it, you know? And even some regular Hot Toys figures, you expect the most because of the price. But with this, you know, I think this figure was like $160, $150, maybe even less. I can't remember. I'm very happy with what's presented here. I think the paint apps look pretty decent. I think the tailoring looks pretty nice. I think the Keaton likeness is very much there. I don't agree at all when people are saying that they don't see it at all. I think it's very much there. But again, I know with head sculpts, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So,
And I told you, I think some of the bash that comes to him or his figure, like just talking about Mars specifically, is that he has done some really great sculpts and really great things with some of his figures. So I think people just try to hold him accountable or hold him to that standard at all times.
Right, because so many people, they got that Cesar Romero Joker, and those sculpts were basically perfect.
I sometimes forget that he is third party, to be honest, myself.
Yeah, I mean, he's pumping out some really cool stuff. I know he's been slow in the releases, but it's coming, guys. If you're expecting from a company that he's going to announce everything under the sun, and that's really what Mars Toys has become as a company, is he's kind of like the people's champ, and when it comes to third-party stuff, announcing stuff that people want, you have to expect what comes along with that is slow releases. That's just how it's going to be. And, everybody's focusing so much on the likeness and the paint apps and everything like that. He's going to have to release the stuff slower in order to kind of meet that quality standard that he's kind of built for himself. So I'm a Mars Toys fanboy. I don't mind saying it at all, but I'm very happy with how this looks. So it'll be coming home. I'll be doing a review on it, and I hope to say good things about it. I hope everything works out when it arrives to me in hand. Mars Toys, though, did not just drop their final product for the Bruce Wayne. They also announced 2 figures today. So we have 2 Doc Brown figures. Now, interestingly enough, guys, we have one from Mars Toys, and the other one is under Saturn Toys. And my theory that I was talking to Chris about, I think Saturn Toys is probably Mars's, his backup company, where if he's going to infringe on a copyright a little bit more, he's like, let's throw that under Saturn Toys, because the Saturn Toys Doc Brown that we'll see here shortly is the yellow version, the all yellow, like the most iconic look for Doc Brown from Part 2. So I think that's probably why he stuck that one under the Saturn Toys name. But this is another one, guys. I think about 75% said they love how these sculpts look, and a lot of people were saying they like these sculpts more than Hot Toys. But there was about 25% are like these sculpts need a lot of work, and I'm in the department where I actually really like these sculpts. I will say this, though. I'll preface it with saying I think these sculpts, at least particularly with this version, the Doc Brown in disguise from Part 2 here, I think there is a bit of a caricature to it. I don't think it's 100% Christopher Lloyd through and through. I don't think that at all. But I like it. I like the sculpts. I'm going to be honest with you. I like the sculpts. And I know some of you are like, oh, these sculpts suck. I like them. I like the expression. I think it's a breath of fresh air that not every single Doc Brown sculpt has the mouth opened up. I like it. I like this expression here. Now, as I say that,
I think there are certain angles I like better, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Felt like Alfred had a caricature look to him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you see a lot of times with these.
Didn't look bad.
Head sculpts.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And this is not 100% Christopher Lloyd. It's not. But I think it looks good. I like it. I will say, like, the hair definitely needs to be whiter. It's too gray. His hair was very much like pure white in the films. But apart from that, you got the currency case here, which is a very iconic accessory. It came with the Hot Toys Doc Brown from Part 2. There's the open mouth sculpt. Obviously, that's going to be everybody's least favorite because not only is it an open mouth sculpt, but it's going to look goofier. It's an open mouth. I don't think that's that bad either. I don't. It's not my favorite.
Yeah,
sculpt.
That angle is one of the ones I was like, oh, that's not bad.
It's not that bad. And the cool thing about this, as a pre-order bonus, you get the closed mouth sculpt, you get the open mouth sculpt without the hat, and then you get the open mouth sculpt with the hat on, which is cool. Guys, the options, we always talk about options. I love to see options. I love that Mars is consistently doing 2 or 3 head sculpts. That's the other thing, guys. Mars does all of this sculpting, basically all of it himself. So when he's sculpting 2 or 3 head sculpts for every single one of these figures, and you guys are like, losing your mind, just keep in mind, he's going to show you one head sculpt and he's going to come out with more. So when people initially saw this open mouth one, they were like, oh, that's, why'd you just do an open mouth? Well, here's the pre-order. We have a closed mouth head sculpt. So you got to have faith in Mars sometimes because he really definitely tries to give the most options. Like, look at the fitment on that coat, though. For a third-party figure, it looks really nicely tailored. It looks really good. And then you have the almanac plastic bag here. That actually came with the Part 2 Marty from Hot Toys. So it's cool to see that accessory pop up for those of you guys that don't have that original one. But like this look right here with him holding the currency case and everything, I think that looks cool, man. It's a nice looking figure. He doesn't come with much though. If you scroll through, this is what you get here. Not a lot, but I think it's enough to justify the price. I think this figure is like relatively inexpensive. I think it was like $150, $160. So again, it's very affordable for what you get. Thick Panther Boy says Mars Toys equals Mr. Unlimited, Hot Toys and Sideshow, no super. Exactly, like Mars Toys, he's going to be doing stuff that people have been begging and begging for, that officially licensed companies are never going to touch. You know, Hot Toys did their disguise versions. They showed off prototypes of them, and we never saw them see the light of day. So here you go. Also, guys, I will note before we move on to the final figure that we're going to look at tonight, you can also buy the open mouth sculpt by itself. It's like $45, I believe. It's available for pre-order. All of this is available through 1/6 Kit. I know, Lane, you're probably like, why the hell did they sell the
you get a
open
whole
mouth sculpt
figure
by itself? I know, trust me. But I feel like he did that because he knew he would sell this figure if he put the closed mouth sculpt with. That's probably why he did it. Let's be real. That's probably why he did it. But yeah, I'm sorry. What'd you say, Chris? I kind of.
I was just saying you said 45. I mean, I know you said 150, 160, but basically $100 more and you get a figure and another sculpt.
2 extra sculpts, yeah, because you get one without the hat, one with the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, I'm sorry. You get a. I misspoke on that. You get the closed mouth sculpt also with the hat. So not 2 open mouth sculpts, 2 closed mouth sculpts. So yeah, again, it's probably he probably did that. I know Lane was probably, oh, of course he gives you the open mouth, but that's probably why he did it, because he wants to sell that. But moving on again to this is the final topic of tonight, guys, and everybody's like, oh, we're 2 hours in. Here we are, guys, with our final topic. Again, we have Saturn toys, but also Mars toys. With their Part 2 Doc Brown here. So yes, we do have a version of this from Hot Toys. It's very expensive. I have it in my collection. Really nice figure. But, you know, the sculpt definitely leaves a little bit to be desired with that open mouth. And we do have an open mouth sculpt here from Mars. However, we also have this smiling sculpt. And I got to be honest with you, I love this sculpt. I love it. I love that little, like, subtle smirk. Again, are these sculpts 100% Christopher Lloyd? No. I think this is probably one of my favorite Doc Brown sculpts to date, though. I really like that little subtle smile that he has. I think that kind of captures that charm.
You know what's crazy? You remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd played the villain.
He used to creep me out when his eyes bugged and he did that smile. That's exactly what this reminds me of if his eyes were bigger.
It really does look like that.
Yeah, I could see it. But I think it's a good looking.
So I mean that means he's in there, you know.
And it has that, you know, because obviously he went to the rejuvenation clinic in Part 2, so he's younger looking, and I think he did a good job at kind of alleviating some of those wrinkles from the face. I think it looks pretty good, man. I'm a fan. I know it's not for everybody, once again, and even the open mouth sculpt, I'm not going to use it, but I don't think it's that bad either. I don't. I don't personally see what a lot of people are saying. I'm pretty happy with it. Chris, you and I talked about this earlier, though. The one thing that I wish he would have maybe done differently.
Yeah, can't unsee it now.
Yeah, is, you know, the material, Hot Toys got it wrong as well. The material is technically like a lighter yellow in a lot of shots, and it has like this, Chris and I kind of described it when we were talking on the phone earlier. It's like a pearlescent sheen that it has to it. Yeah. That would be my only gripe.
It's like a deeper yellow, too. Like
right.
A mustardy, lighter.
Exactly. And I saw someone on the Mars Toys page mention, why don't you just use the same material that you use for the Robin cloak? And I thought that was pretty smart because it's very, very similar. It's very close in color, and it has that sheen to it. So if I could make any suggestions, and I will bring it up to Mars, I'll see if he can maybe change that material. But if he doesn't, I mean, I'll be happy with this because I told you guys before, any third-party companies that were going to do this version of Doc, I was going to throw it in my DeLorean anyway. So I'm glad to see Mars Toys do it. And I think it looks pretty good overall. I really don't have many complaints about it, especially for the price. And if you guys don't have the expensive Hot Toys ones in your collection, there you go. There's your cheap way to get a Doc in your collection. And I think it looks pretty good. I don't think at all that you're just settling. I think it looks pretty good in my personal opinion.
So will he'll still have the holes in his head if you have those glasses off, kind of like Hot Toys?
Yes, I would imagine so. It looks like the holes are present
in the open mouth one. Oh, yeah, I can kind of see it there.
Both of them, yeah. I mean, that's kind of unavoidable because otherwise the glass.
Yeah,
would
it
really
doesn't
sit over
bother
your head,
me.
So
I
it
was
doesn't
just
bother
curious.
me personally. It only bothered me for the part 1 figure because they didn't fill it in because he wasn't wearing those glasses, you know, in that film. So that's why it bothered me and bothered all of us in the part 1. So. But guys, these figures are available for pre-order through 16kit. Links to 16kit in the description. Make sure you are logged in if you're trying to pre-order these, because some of the items will not show up if you're not logged in. So, excuse me. That's going to wrap it up, guys. Sorry if that ending was kind of long-winded. I just kind of wanted to share that stuff with you guys. I know a lot of people appreciate the third-party stuff, so I wanted to kind of get that out there. Thank you so much, guys, as always, for hanging out with us and coming back to join us after a 2-week break. I will be missing another Thursday, I think the 3rd week of this month, because I'm going to a Star Wars trivia with a bunch of friends, which, you know, that's going to be fun. But
Wow.
so I will let you guys know now I will be missing another Thursday this month. But I'm sure you guys are very much grateful for us showing up when we can.
You don't
so
invite me nowhere. That's for sure.
this guy's
That
over here
means
acting like he
barely
can do something on
invites
a
me
Thursday night when he gets off of work at 8:30. This dude is a clown. But no, all jokes aside, really great stream tonight, guys. The enthusiasm for a lot of this new stuff really makes you happy to be a collector of Hot Toys and other 6-scale stuff in 2024. Can't wait for that Iron Man. Cannot wait for the Dead Strange. Lane got me really excited about that Dead Strange. Cannot wait to check that stuff out. And then we got a lot of stuff shipping right now. It's going to be a rough couple of months for shipping. Of course, January, you know, it's kind of up in the air for Sideshow at least because we have the Chinese New Year stuff around the corner, which everything kind of goes to a halt. So I imagine a lot of this stuff that's releasing now will probably show up in the later months following Chinese New Year, at least with Sideshow. So we'll get a little bit of a break there, and then you guys know March usually is kind of a dead month. So we'll see what Hot Toys does this year. They've been a very different animal lately, so it could be crazy for sure. Oh yes, Thick Banth Boy. Sorry I didn't submit the request to you, dude. My bad, dude. See you later, Big Dog Pound. Once again, thank you so much for hanging out, dude. And everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We very much appreciate you. Beskar Kid, Payton, Ian, everybody. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with us. We very much appreciate it. Guys, I do have a few recent reviews up on the channel. If you haven't checked them out already, definitely check them out. Some really cool stuff for sure. I know Chris just posted up a couple videos. He did, what was it? What was the company?
LED light kit for Millennium Falcon.
So if you collect Legos, definitely check that out. And then you just put up a video today, Chris.
Yeah, from Vincent Toys_NA. That's on Instagram, but I think his company is Toy Stay. At least it's set on the box. But the Spidey lens, the white lenses that are in TASM 2 and No Way Home, if you want to convert those, that's on my channel. And I show you how to do that.
Hey, Chris, is that the UCS Lego set?
No, I wish. It's the yeah.
It's like a mini
smaller.
No, it's still, like a
it's not mini, but it's one of the many ones that they did. It's like
standard, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's the newest. It's the most recent one that they've done besides UCS. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the sequel trilogy one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the space for any UCS stuff. I would love to have that stuff.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Bantha Boy. It's great to see you back, bro. And I hope you have a great night. And guys, everybody have a great weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend. We're hoping for snow here, but it keeps changing. Snow, rain. So we'll see what happens.
Saturday, supposedly, heavy snowstorm.
We'll see what happens.
But they've already salted roads here.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, Ian. So Present Toys, Mars Toys, they do great stuff. So I'm right there with you. But thank you, as always, everybody on the panel. Lane, Chris, Mike, Sean. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight and sharing your love for collecting. That's going to wrap it up, guys. As always, on your way out, if you have not liked, please drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much, everybody, for being here, as always, each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Take care.